morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The preseason begins this week for the Browns and Bengals. Cincinnati's first preseason game is Thursday, hosting the Lions at 7. On Saturday, Cleveland's in Chicago to take on the Bears at 1 o'clock. Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson will start as the team's still working through a quarterback competition. The one who doesn't start this week will get the nod next Saturday when the Browns host the Bills. You'll be able to hear preseason Browns football right here on The Fan starting Saturday at 1. In college football, the playoff committee met yesterday and discussed possible expansion to 16 and even 24 teams. Though a decision was not made, there is a December 1st deadline to announce expansion of the playoff in 2027. The 2026 season begins in 19 days with Week 0, and the NBA released several games this upcoming season. The season's going to begin Thursday, October 20th. LeBron James and the 76ers are going to host the Cavaliers on Thursday, October 22nd. This update is sponsored by Germain Toyota. For unbeatable service and sales, visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net.
Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy, Austin Ward. My good buddy, Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Barry here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then
and
then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only 2 guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. Loaded up on a Tuesday edition of the program. Is he the most important Buckeye of all? We will get to that at 9:30. The Real Truth comes your way at 10 o'clock. 10:30, Amanda Christovich joins us, front office sports, with some thoughts on where we are with all of the legalities that have to do with the sports and business and college football all intersecting. 11 o'clock, we take a look back on what we learned. 20 most interesting programs is in the books. I know I enjoyed it. I know the fellas enjoyed it. Hope you guys did as well. Get to learn a little bit about all of these teams that should either be contenders one way or another or challengers for the Buckeyes in that chase to the national title. What did we learn from that at 11? And then our great, you know what? In all the years I've been doing this, and this is my 20th season covering Ohio State football, I've never had Phil Steele on a show. I've never had him on, and we're going to have him on today at 11:30. So I'm excited about this. I have revered that magazine for years, and so this is going to be very cool to have Phil on. First time on any of the shows I've ever done that have had him on, so that's exciting. I wanted to start here because we certainly live in a pretty tricky world, and as a father of a 14, 12, and 10-year-old and the son of a mid-70-year-old, I consistently and constantly deal with the idea of misinformation. It is really easy to manipulate what is real and what is not, whether it's through AI or the way things are framed. Audio even can get pulled and made to seem like something that it's not. Things are very rarely given full context, in large part because, for the most part, we become pretty, as a society, pretty ADD. We want things kind of explained to us in 15 to 20 seconds, and once we're done with that explanation, we're on to the next question. We don't really have the patience, I think, to really figure out what's going on a lot of things. And it happens in reporting all of the time. It happens in the coverage of the sports teams that we pay attention to all the time. This notion of clicks versus coverage. What is the job of let's say, a beat reporter for the Ohio State Buckeyes? Their job is to generate content that creates information that you either subscribe to or you click on at a big enough rate that advertisers want to advertise with that company. It's a business. This is all business. That's all it is, right? It's all business. But it all comes back down to, are you producing interesting enough content? In the old days, it was different. Everybody got the Columbus Dispatch. You got the Columbus Dispatch. It'd show up on your step. and you'd read it. Now you log into the Columbus Dispatch, but it was different then. You would get it there. You'd get your information on Channel 10, Channel 6, Channel 4, wherever you got it. You'd get that at 6 and 11, and that was kind of it. You get Buckeye Sports Bulletin delivered to you, and then we started getting things online. I don't need to go through the history of all of it, but it all has kind of eroded to the point, I think, really at the apex level now where we are with social media, especially the X platform. When Twitter launched, the idea of, I wanted to say, was it 120 characters that you had to have in the beginning?
It was initially, yeah.
Was that it, Reese? I thought, yeah, 120.
And it should never have expanded, just like the college football playoff.
No, I agree. I think 120 was kind of a sweet spot. But what 120 did do is it forced you to get as much information as you could in a really, really small package, right? I remember with 3 things, I would be writing a second thing or a third thing once we get into football season, and it would go over the 120, and I'd be like trying to get rid of a comma, get rid of this, try to make it so it just kind of all worked. An example of this that we're dealing with right now, I think, is what is going on with Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. And I think that for whatever reason, I think we know the reason. Shedeur Sanders was an incredibly popular college football player who played for his father, who is arguably the most charismatic NFL player in the history of the game, who did one of the most audacious things of all time and went from Jackson State to Colorado, of all places. And he was a absolute college football comet. I don't know if you could really wrap your head around this, but his first year there, when they played Colorado State at 10 o'clock, and Reese, you'll remember this, they did like 10 million viewers at 10 o'clock on ESPN2, a Colorado State game. That first month when he was there, game day was there once, and the Big Noon Kickoff was there twice. To my knowledge, it's the only time Big Noon Kick has gone to a location that they did not have the rights to the game. They went to the Colorado State game, and they did not have the rights to the game. It was not on Fox. I can't think of another instance where that happened. Maybe Brady or Urban could remember something better. I don't. They would know. I don't. It's possible I missed one, but I couldn't think of one. So I understand why Shedeur is a very, very big deal. What I don't understand is how we've gotten to the point with the coverage of it that there is believed to be, on many levels, a conspiracy against him winning the job. I mean, just think of it for a second. What exactly would that be? Let's just look at it from a facts perspective. Just pure facts, okay? If Shedeur Sanders wins the job with the Cleveland Browns, if he were to win the job with the Cleveland Browns, that is, as I've coined from the beginning with Shedeur, that's a lottery ticket. That's a 5th-round pick that you have under team control for multiple years at a very manageable price. If Shedeur Sanders is Brock Purdy, you've won the lottery. Because now those 2 first-round picks next year don't have to be about a quarterback. The 2 first-round picks next year can be about Jeremiah Smith. They can be about Colin Simmons. They can be about Dylan Stewart. They can be about whatever you want them to be if you don't have to get a quarterback. Shedeur Sanders being the starting quarterback, or any quarterback, a 5th-round pick being a starting quarterback is a lottery ticket. It's as simple as that. It's that big of an advantage if you land on one of those things, because you can buttress everything else and you don't have to deal with it. Conversely, if Deshaun Watson wins the job, you are going to be, and let's just say he plays well, they're going to be in a tough spot trying to figure out how to make it work with him if they decide to do a contract extension with him. Very difficult. He is a free agent after this year. So they would have to rework a deal. They'd have to do a new deal, and they would have to make it work under a salary cap constraints that they are already under, which are many. I mean, that's the thing. Let alone the timeline of Shedeur being young, Deshaun being old, Shedeur lining up with the older, not old, Shedeur lining up with the younger players. And so when I see some of this stuff, I know what it's about. I know that it's about clicks, and I know that for whatever reason, Shedeur's become polarizing. I saw Shannon Sharp talking nonsense about this. Like, this is a gold jacket, right? It's a gold jacket. He knows better. He knows how the league works. Todd Monken, guys, in simplest form, is a 60-year-old man who's getting his first chance to coach in the National Football League. And we'll have some audio from Todd in just a second from his press conference yesterday, which was brilliant. And I think if you care about these type of things, you should listen to all of it. But he is a 60-year-old man who's getting his first chance to coach in the NFL. Do you think he cares about anything other than winning?
No.
You think he waited this long for conspiracy? And by the way, if there was going to be a conspiracy, you would conspire against Deshaun Watson. That's who you'd conspire against, is against Deshaun Watson, not against Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is the lottery ticket. That's easy. Shedeur Sanders wins that job. That's easy. He's under team control. You build around him. You draft some guys to go along with him next year. All of a sudden, you got Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion. You've got Quinshon Judkins. You got an offensive line that's coming along. Spencer Fano looks really good. Won the left tackle job. Like, all of these things are in place, and now you can draft the other side of the ball. You can do all sorts of things. You don't have to worry about quarterback. Watson, it's really complicated. If he's the guy, and if he's the guy trying to be long-term, it's pretty complicated. So I just ask to have a little common sense. We've just lost it. We've lost it. I've asked a billion times, give me one example of why anyone would conspire against Shedeur. And by the way, both Shedeur and Deshaun are handling this great. They're handling it as well as good as you can, especially if you pay attention to the cesspool around all of it.
There's a conspiracy with Shedeur currently because there's always been a conspiracy with Shedeur Sanders dating back to his time as a college quarterback going into the NFL. Remember, the league colluded, conspired to keep him down out of higher rounds being drafted and didn't want anything to do with him.
Why, though?
It's a good question.
No one asked that.
Someone did have the fun one. Again, this is Eric putting red yarn on the corkboard. I don't believe there's a conspiracy personally. I don't believe it's ever been a conspiracy to hold Shedeur Sanders back. I believe Shedeur Sanders' talent has been what put him in as a fifth-round selection. I believe his talent, and I believe him as a quarterback is why there's a competition right now in Cleveland. There is no conspiracy, in my opinion, but because his father was so polarizing that teams have always held a grudge against him, and they're carrying that grudge with Shedeur now that he's in the NFL.
I suppose that'd be the case. I just disagree that there's any notion that Deion Sanders is polarizing. Deion Sanders is the greatest cover corner of all time and the most charismatic.
Facts. Those are facts.
Most charismatic football player ever.
I would also argue that for the Cleveland Browns side of this, you would want Shedeur to win this, one, because of all the things you said, but also, and I've said this from the beginning, and I think it's through very little fault of his own, Shedeur can't be a backup in the NFL because there has never been a situation in the NFL where there's noise around your backup quarterback, and that helps. And there's always noise around Shedeur Sanders. Like Tim Tebow.
So that's the Tebow. That's the Tebow.
Yeah, he could have never been a backup quarterback, I don't believe, because there would have always been people clamoring for him or wanting to see him, or every time the starter throws a pick, see, this guy should be in. Mm-hmm. I don't believe, usually at the quarterback position, you want that to be a quiet position anyway.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason with Shedeur, it's never quiet. And I think that's majority because of who his father is.
Maybe, but there's a lot of famous fathers whose kids play in the NFL. I mean, in the end, like Deion is the head coach of Colorado. He's not going to be around. He was at one day at camp before Colorado camp started. He can't go to games, unless they play on the West Coast. He's the coach of a Division I football team. So I just find it very difficult to find a plausible, but I guess that's the problem here. You don't need to have a plausible case for things anymore. It can just be utter nonsense, and you can run with it. And it's just been one of those things that's been very disappointing to just see how it's been handled, because it just, for the life of me, I've been around a long time. I just can't see it in any way. And again, of no fault of Shedeur's or Deshaun Watson's. They're both handling things very, very well. It's just a brutal spot. Todd Monken gave a very candid response to some of this conspiracy. We'll have that for you coming up next. We're off and running on a Tuesday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation, because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special, both for you and your partner. At Tri-State Men's Health, we are the leader in treating ED in the area. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the tri-state area to serve you.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Summer heats up fast here in Columbus, and bad windows can have a tough time keeping a home cool and can send energy bills through the roof.
I hate to admit it, but we've had some complaints about our windows doing that.
Uh-oh.
I just tell them it's just like being at the beach, minus the water and the beach and the happiness, and you're in your living room. It's gross.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rated the leading window brand at PellaColumbus.com.
Welcome back to That Lux Life. It's your boy, Will Winmore. Today's guest, the Millionaire Ball from the new Ohio Lottery Daily Draw Game, Millionaire for Life. Hey-o! So if a player matches 5 numbers and the Millionaire Ball number, they win $1 million a year for life. Hey-o! Or $100,000 a year for life if they match just 5. Hey-o! Millionaire for Life is the game. Millionaire Ball is his name. Play Ohio's newest daily draw game for your chance to win for life. Players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Every summer morning is different. Luckily, Tim Hortons has a breakfast wrap for every morning. Kick off your summer with the bold new steak and egg wrap. Start your morning fresh with the egg white and Swiss wrap. Or keep it classic with the grilled breakfast wrap. No matter what summer mood you're in, you can always find a wrap at Tim Hortons, your morning happy place.
Every year, summer ends and the kids go back to school. This year, I'm going back too, at My Computer Career. They helped me get financial aid, and I got to choose online or on-campus classes that fit my needs. Now I'm on a fast track to a high-demand IT career where the rewards can finally match my value. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. That's mycomputercareer.edu. It's never too late to go back to school.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Helping a new driver get ready for their road test? Here's a convenient new way to make the most of your 50 hours of required practice driving time. The Road Ready Ohio app, available now at no cost to new drivers and their families. Road Ready Ohio keeps track of your driving experience together, providing feedback and safe driving tips. It even generates the documentation you need for the Ohio BMV. The Road Ready Ohio app, free to download in the Apple and Google App Stores.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Throughout the rest of your Tuesday, tracking showers and storms continued later this evening. The main focus with those storms is pretty much heavy rainfall and gusty winds. Highs today right around 85 degrees, feeling warm with that humidity as well. We're keeping an eye out for the possibility of seeing more flash flooding throughout the rest of your Tuesday. I'm your 10 Weather Impact meteorologist, Lily Aldridge, 97.1 The Fan.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are, and we are proudly, and as always, sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years now, kids. We were talking about the Browns quarterback competition. Whatever you think of the talk around it, the noise around it, whatever. I think Todd Monken, and I think the two guys are handling it about as well as you can. Monk, I think, is quite honestly handling it about as good as you can. He talks about this every day before practice. Yesterday was a Shedeur day. They were inside, split relatively evenly rep-wise, smaller field condensed, so you can't get as much done because of the weather that they had up there. He was very upset with what happened at the end of practice. They had some procedural things. Shedeur with the ones had some procedural things first, and then Deshaun came in with the twos, had similar ones, and then he just was kind of fed up and said, "Get out of here, I'm done with it." But one of the things that led to a lot of this dialogue around this, and by the way, as a quick aside, it is incumbent on Todd to name a starter as soon as possible because these two players are not similar skill sets. They're very different from a skill set perspective. They're running the same offense, but you certainly could have more RPO stuff with Deshaun than you would want to with Shedeur. Deshaun is the better athlete. I think that's acknowledged. I don't think that's conspiracy. He's the better athlete of the two. He has the more lively arm. Shedeur, through the early part of camp, was more accurate for sure and was more willing to throw downfield. Deshaun's come around on that. But Deshaun has still thrown a bunch of interceptions in camp, and that's one of the things you're monitoring as well. So one of the things that became a big talking point was Saturday was supposed to be a Shedeur day, and then you got back out to work on Saturday, and it ended up being a Deshaun day, and so the media couldn't understand what happened there, what that was all about. Todd Monken was asked about that yesterday. Here was his response.
Shedeur on Saturday took the ones in the walk, so I anticipated him being with the ones. When I walked out, guys grabbed me and said, "Hey, the last couple days we've been kind of looking at it. Shedeur's got a few more reps with the ones." That's all it was. I wasn't even at the moment. I was like, yeah, sure, we'll flip it, and then next week we'll go the other way. I sure as hell wasn't thinking about coming back in here and telling all you guys that I was going to change my mind because I really don't have to. And so that's just the way, being the head coach, I can kind of do that. Ultimately, Shedeur's going to go today with the ones, unless on the way out I change my mind, and then he won't. Okay? Just like any other player in terms of how we rotate them. And the bottom line is the speculation, which I find kind of funny. As long as we're still sharing reps, it's a competition.
God, I hope he wins. He'd be so fun. He'd be so fun. He's just ask a question, get an answer. No, he doesn't know anybody anything. And by the way, I talked to Joe Thomas about this yesterday, and one of the things we said is, I asked him, I said, are NFL professional players, are they owed reps? And he just laughed. It's professional football. Nobody's owed anything. It's up to the head coach to decide who's going to get the reps. The end. You're not owed anything. You're not owed a chance. None of it. It's just utter nonsense. And they had some big news up there yesterday. They had Spencer Fano is going to be the starting left tackle. He really came along. He got into a little bit of a scuffle with Jared Verse on Saturday, and that was kind of a good thing, right? Nobody got hurt, so that was a really positive thing that had happened. And that's a big deal because they drafted him very high, and he looks really, really good. Denzel Boston has been the best offensive player, and you could argue the most impressive overall player in all of camp up there. And he got moved to starting X yesterday. So they're going to move Jerry Jeudy around and put him in the slot, and you've got a 6'4" dude on the outside. What I said when I know I use this on this show, what I think of Denzel Boston is I think of T. Higgins. I think he's like that. I think he's got that type of frame, that type of hands, his ability to work against corners. Most of the corners up there, certainly the second string corners, have had no chance against him whatsoever. And I saw Bill Simmons actually put some soft earned on him being offensive rookie of the year. And I kind of get it. I understand that a little bit. Casey Concepcion has gotten a lot of one stuff as well, too. So they have some things that are really, really developing there. It sounds like the plan right now is for each quarterback to start a preseason game. So one of them will start this weekend in Chicago. The other one will start the following week against Buffalo. As I have said from the beginning consistently, the thing to watch for on this competition is the Thursday Bills practice. So that's next Thursday. They have a joint practice with the Buffalo Bills. Whoever gets the most reps with the ones against the Buffalo Bills on that Thursday practice, because that'll be good on good. That'll be Browns ones, Bills ones. Whichever of the two quarterbacks gets the lion's share of those reps, that will be your starting quarterback barring injury. going into the regular season. But I thought Monk's last line there was the money line, where he talked about, I don't have to explain anything. I'm the head coach. Like, sometimes it's just that simple, guys. But anyway, that's the real truth of where all of this thing is. I think Monk kind of said it there in his answer, and that's just the reality of what this thing is going on. So in terms of things to watch for, that Thursday Bills practice, if they go, Watson starts against Chicago this weekend, Shedeur plays second. Watson gets the 1 reps against the Bills in the joint practice Thursday. Shedeur starts the Buffalo game. Then Deshaun Watson will be your starting quarterback. That would be my read of how that all goes.
Well, the good thing with
that's not my opinion, but that's just I just want to be careful here because stuff gets aggregated. That's just common sense, how I would expect it to go.
Good job out of you. Both preseason games, or at least the first 2, right here on the Fan. Here at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I do think for the idea that they're putting money on Denzel Boston, like the quarterback's very important. So for those out there clamoring for preseason games that matter, if you're a Browns fan, these are gonna be big. I wonder if you could inject Todd Monken with truth serum. And sometimes it doesn't sound like you have to.
No,
like
you
if you
don't.
just ask him a question like truth serum be damned, he's just going to give you the straightest answer. If he would even have any 4 of these quarterbacks in his room. If you said, all right, Todd, you get to come in, quarterback room's completely clean, would you have taken any of them? Maybe Taylon Green because he was a draft pick there. But I do think for Monken, this is, you talked about not earning reps. I think Monken's earned patience by obviously understanding a fan base that's not traditionally patient, historically patient.
Yeah.
But this is his first year. You want to come in and try to establish some semblance of culture. And I think how you do that is by little things, what Monken did there in deciding reps. Had the plan, players told him, no, we'd like to see a little more Shedeur. He went with Shedeur. I think that was so important in him saying that and him making it known to the players, we're in this together. I'm listening to you, but also saying, no, this is my decision, and I have not made it yet because I'm not ready to make it. And I think that's really well and a good job to handle a quarterback competition, a quarterback circus that's really always going to be in Cleveland that's been better than previous or past regimes.
I just want the guy, and this Browns roster, especially with the additions of Denzel Boston and KC Concepcion, I think this Browns roster is pretty decent, especially if Spencer Fano works on the offensive line and they find a group of 5 there that works. The only real question are the quarterback and if Todd Monken is ready to be an NFL head coach. So for me, I don't care about next year. I want the guy that's going to win me the most games this year.
Yeah.
Because I think if the Cleveland Browns can get halfway competent quarterback play, I think they could push to be a playoff team. I don't know if that's good or bad for the Browns or not long term, but it's good for the fans, I feel. Give them some kind of hope.
Yeah, I think the roster now they have some real lack of depth at corner and at linebacker, and right now their top 4 defensive tackles, Mason Graham's back, but right now, so 3 of their 4 top defensive tackles aren't even practicing. So they have some health they got to get right on defense. But yeah, I think if they get C quarterback play out of whoever it is, that they're going to be a fun team to watch this year, and that they will win some games because they haven't had weapons like the weapons they have now since Odell, Jarvis, and Nick Chubb. I mean, it's been that long since they've had the type of weaponry that they have right now. Lots of weapons here in old Columbus town. Arthur Smith's going to be the man in charge of deploying them. Is he the most important Buckeye of all? We'll get to that in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis wake you up every weekday morning from 6 to 9, and I think I can sum up the show in 3 words. Football, food, and fun. Ain't that right, T-Bone?
And I get more volume per suck.
And there's only one thing that makes Tyvis happier than a free hair transplant.
All it took was legalizing the money you had to give to the players. And we are watching the demise of the SEC.
T-Bone and Tyvis, weekday morning starting at 6. And tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 The Fan.
Jerry, I've made a decision.
Aaron, are you giving away free services again?
Well, yeah. How did you know?
I haven't been able to quit thinking about your AC piggy bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
We work to extend the life of their old air conditioner and then give back all the money we were paid to do it.
Up to $1,500.
When they need to buy a new system.
Jerry, I'm getting ready to do something like that again.
Get Eco.
ECO. When we replace a water heater, I'm instructing all the Eco plumbers to give our customers up to $500 in free repairs before they leave the house.
$500 in free services that same day?
There's lots and lots and lots of things our plumbers can do for $500 or less.
And Eco is going to do these things for free when people buy a water heater?
Yeah, whatever they want for free.
That same day?
Same day.
Get Eco.
ECO. Give it away, plumbers, genius electricians, and gonna make you cool again, HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
What's up? What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Apex Pros, the pros who knows.
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday edition of the program. Move-in day yesterday for the camp portion of Ohio State fall training camp. You're not sure exactly why you had a text to us yesterday about why exactly are we doing this? Why are we taking pictures of these guys walking in?
I get it that Ohio State is king, but that's a little creepy to me. We got multiple cameras set up watching these guys walk into a hotel. That's a little weird. I understand it's the business we live in, but
I think we now just do it out of habit. But the reason we did it in the beginning, and I don't know exactly when it started, but it's been happening as long as I've been here, because I remember going to Tim Flaherty and we would go and watch him, walk in there. And the reason that we did it, 20 years ago was it was our first chance oftentimes we didn't have open practices. So it was our first chance to get a look at freshmen who enrolled in the summer because we hadn't seen them. It was our first chance to get a look at freshmen who went through an entire offseason of Body by Mick. But now we see so much of that stuff. So my guess is we just kind of do it out of habit. It's something we've always done, right? It's the pancake breakfast. We do it once a month, that type of thing. That's kind of my theory on it, is it's just something we've always done, so you just keep doing it. But, yeah, we just saw Jeremiah 2 days ago. We just saw, Tavian St. Clair 2 days ago. So everybody knows it's just, one of those things that we've always done. So one of the things they've always done around here is play offensive football at an elite level. It's been that way since Urban got here. It's elevated since Ryan's been in charge. This has been one of the most dynamic offenses historically in all of college football in the last 20 years especially. Arthur Smith is now going to be in charge of that offense. Doug Lesmerises said something of the Bill and Doug Show, said something with us on Friday where I asked him about Arthur, and he said, I think he's the most important aspect of this team, that addition, more than any player, more than anything. And the more I thought about it, I thought, and typically this is the case, Doug might be right. Because what Arthur is going to be able to do is be a true peer to Ryan. He is a true peer. He's a true peer with Patricia. So what I mean by that is even Chip Kelly was more of a, I don't want to say father-son, but certainly uncle-nephew relationship with Ryan. I mean, he was a mentor. And so, and then last year, Brian was being mentored by Ryan. So Arthur is on his own. And by the way, didn't really have a relationship with Ryan before coming here. So he is on his own and stands on his own as a peer of Ryan. There is no previous relationship to lean on one way or another. Ryan has sought this out. He sought it out, and you got to remember, he tried hiring Bill O'Brien before he hired Chip Kelly. So he has wanted that. He has a type. Coach Day has a type that he wants as a coordinator. He wants NFL experience because it all fits under that NFLU umbrella. And that type of scheme coming into the college game, as we saw with Matt Patricia last year, is kind of a no-brainer. Arthur Smith was on with us on Friday. I found him very engaging, really interesting dude. Seems really fired up to be here. Had a pretty quick sense of humor as well that he showed off in the interview that I'm pretty sure we've posted multiple times. If you haven't seen it, you can see it in its entirety. But one of the things we asked him was, why Ohio State? Why was it a fit? Here was his answer.
I've always been one that, not afraid for a new adventure. And, I wasn't thinking about it, so he reached out to me, asked me if I had any interest. And I had talked to him a few times. We didn't really know each other well. We didn't, we never crossed over any staffs or anything like that. But I had a lot of respect for him. Met him at pro days. So he hits me up. He didn't have his number. So I texted Will Howard. I was like, Will, is this, you never know, right? You get spam, whatever. Yeah. Will goes, yeah, confirmed. That is Coach Day. So I hit him back, and he called me. And I said, I'm not opposed to it. I'm trying to figure it out. Things happen so fast in our profession. We were in a playoffs, right? And then Coach Tomlin retires. And so you're like, all right, well, let's see what, you got to go find work. He's like, you want to get on a Zoom? I said, I'd just get in my truck and I'll drive down. So I drove down. We met for several hours. Good conversation. I had a couple other guys that had promised to, talk to. I said, if you can give me a couple days, I understand, whatever your timeline is, definitely interested. And so I talked to people I trusted, and a lot of them were players I've coached. I played for him. Justin Fields I had in 24. Obviously, we had Will. Jack Sawyer was around. Jeff Okuda, I drafted Zach Harrison in Atlanta, so, got some good perspective. And then Mike Vrabel, and so then I talked to Coach Patricia, and he told me how awesome of an experience it was for him. And I said, this would be kind of cool. So just once I told him I'd commit, I go, Coach, I promise you I'm all in. And so here I am.
And then, Reese, you had Ryan on Fan Sports Saturday Spectacular and asked him about Arthur's impact. Here is Coach Day on that.
Yeah, good. Arthur, has a high football IQ. He's got a high EQ, and it's been, a good process for me to have interaction with him. Like, what do you see here? I've been here now going on 10 years. So when you've been here for a long time, like Keenan knows what I think. I know what Keenan thinks. Mick knows what I think. I know what Mick thinks. Larry Johnson, you start going through the guys on Billy Fessler. There's James Laurinaitis now has been here. Matt Carreri. I mean, we've sort of all been together for a while. And so when Matt came in last year, he gave us a different perspective. And I think Arthur does the same. And when you look at his resume and what he's done, he has instant credibility with the players.
I think it is so brilliant what they've done with the hiring and finding fits and all of it. And I think one of the things that was really cool for us was seeing Matt's enthusiasm for the college game last year show up on the field with what this defense looked like and how it bewildered Arch Manning in week one and then continued to be the number one defense, maybe the best defense we've ever had around here. And then pretty sure you're going to have a similar impact from Arthur Smith this year offensively. One of the things we talked to Brandon and Austin Servold, and all these guys have talked about this, is Arthur Smith's number one thing is just toughness. We're going to be tough up front, first and foremost. And if you think about last year, and that's one of the things that they've kind of had to carry this offseason, was the knock that they weren't tough enough in the trenches offensively to get third and shorts, short red zone, all of those type of things. That's job one for Arthur Smith.
Yeah, it'll be, I think, really fascinating to see not only how the first series or first, I guess, couple of series go against Ball State, just to see, with what Ohio State wants to, I think, really establish early on in a game, of the first game with Arthur Smith as your offensive coordinator, but where he calls plays from. Because I just assumed by me when Patricia came in, he called from the booth. But he's on the sidelines, like acting like a get-back coach. High-fiving guys when they come off the field. Like, does Arthur Smith bring that sort of energy, or is he up in the field, with eyes and ears? And then on game days, like, how are him and Ryan discussing the coordination of the offense? I know with Coach Day, and, you had mentioned that it's peer-to-peer. And so Ryan sees Arthur as his peer. Ryan sees Arthur as someone who, NFL bona fides, that there's respect for from even the players see that and go, well, he's done it all. He's done it everywhere. He's coached guys like Aaron Rodgers just recently. And so I wonder, like, how does that communication go on game days? Like, where does it go in an offensive drive that may or may not stall in short yardage red zone situations? Like, does Ryan step in and say, all right, what are we doing with this? Or does he back off and let Arthur, with the understanding that you talk to the players about what Arthur wants, it's going to be we got 1 yard, go get that effing yard. And that's a very NFL approach to it, whereas last year you brought in the Lincoln Keenholz package.
I love what Ryan Day said there, and there's definitely something to be said for having staff continuity. And it would have been awesome if you could have had Chip and Ryan and their relationship and the way they work together. It would have been awesome to have them for 5 or 6 years. But the fact of the matter is, at Ohio State, when you do well, people want to take a part of you. They want part of that in their program, so they will come take your coordinators. And I love what Ryan said about Arthur coming in and it being a different set of eyes and seeing things from a different point of view. Because Keenan Bailey doesn't know any different. He knows the Ryan Day offense. Billy Fessler, he doesn't know any different. He knows the Ryan Day offense. So this year you've got Cortez Hankton in there as a wide receiver coach. You've got Arthur Smith. I love those different eyes where maybe some of the struggles you've talked about, Reese, maybe being tough just fixes that. But maybe, hey, this isn't working. Why don't we try this? If we just do this variation here, and it's maybe something that these guys haven't even thought of.
Yeah. The new set of eyes thing is just brilliant, and to reach into the NFL over and over again is brilliant. You think about the innovation that can happen at the NFL level. I don't know that there's enough time now to have the innovation in college that we used to have. I don't know how there's time for it with all that happens on a roster building standpoint now. There's not. That's the job now. It's roster building, retention, rinse and repeat. I don't know if there's as much time for innovation. There's innovation all the NFL is in football. People ask me all the time, biggest difference between college coach, NFL coach? NFL coach, you're just coaching ball. Like, that's it. Like, there's a general manager to handle the roster. You just coach ball. And so to dip into that for innovative things, pretty smart on Coach Day's. And my hunch is what he asks these guys is a 2-year commitment. Give me 2 years. And then you can go wherever you want to go, but try to give me 2. Like, I don't know if Matt will be here beyond this year. I hope he's here forever, but I also understand the realities of the profession. So I think this plan that Coach Day is on is a pretty brilliant one when you think about putting a staff together. We have some sports television news that may affect the Buckeyes. We will get to that, and the NFL has won. We'll explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place, here with a happy customer.
Wilson's trying very hard.
Thanks, Mom. I mean, Margaret.
Wilson, is this your mom?
Yes.
Mom.
Wilson, your mom should like your windows.
Oh, I wouldn't know. We actually have Pella windows.
Mom!
They've really lowered our energy bills.
I'm going to go wait in the car.
Get the windows that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
The radical left attacks law enforcement in the streets, while leftist politicians like Zoran Mandami, Tim Walz, and Jasmine Crockett slander them on stage.
They mask their faces to attack and murder.
Modern-day Gestapo.
Modern-day slave patrols.
And Amy Acton's echoing her fellow leftists, spreading dangerous lies.
Does this not feel like the Ku Klux Klan to anyone?
Amy Acton and her friends' rhetoric inspires violence against officers with deadly results.
New details about the deadly shooting. A sniper opened fire from a nearby rooftop.
Jan specifically intended to kill agents. The attacks and violent acts targeting law enforcement are fueled by rhetoric like Amy Acton's, creating violence, endangering all of us. Ohio can't afford liberal Amy Acton. Vivek Ramaswamy backs law enforcement. That's why Vivek is endorsed by the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police and 67 county sheriffs. Because Vivek will stand with our officers to keep Ohio safe. Vivek Ramaswamy for governor.
Paid for by Vivek Ramaswamy and Rob McCauley for Ohio.
Say goodbye to car care headaches with Carvenience from Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. For only $49, we'll pick up your vehicle, leave you with a rental, and return it fully serviced and spotless. No more juggling your schedule or wasting hours at the shop. Carvenience lets you focus on what matters while we take care of all the rest, making life easier. Schedule your service today at HindererMotorCompany.com.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh yeah, used the trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Out here, you know the drill. Animals are hungry, dogs are getting muddy, and you just noticed you're low on feed. Stocking up at Tractor Supply is easy on your wallet with our unbeatable prices on select shavings, retriever dog food, and Producer's Pride animal and poultry feed. From backyards to barnyards, we've got everything to keep your pets, animals, and livestock well fed and comfortable with low prices all summer. At Tractor Supply.
If you dread dealing with your insurance more than you dread build-it-yourself furniture, with extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Hieroglyphics?
Then you might have Insuranoia. You should have NJM Insurance. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders.
Bang! There's a train. Stop signs and crosswalks just aren't enough. Overgrown vegetation makes a bad crossing worse. Almost half of Ohio's railroad crossings don't have gates and flashing lights. Bam! You're dead. Gates and lights save more lives than stop signs or crosswalks alone. Report bad railroad crossings at angelsontrack.org. That's angelsontrack.org. Because bad crossings kill good drivers. Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by OAB and this station.
Anybody can make a good pitch. Hey friends, Beamer here. Awaken 180 had to prove it. Paige and her coaches stayed involved, kept me accountable, and helped me lose 75 pounds. Support during, support for life, online at awaken180weightloss.com.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
Hey, fellas, when it comes to making a big decision like the ring, you don't wing it. That's why I trust my friends at Diamond Cellar. Nearly 80 years, their families help generations of couples celebrate life's biggest moments, exceptional quality, larger diamonds, and better value. And guys, here's the best part. They walk you through it step by step. You know what you're getting, and you know you're going to get it right. When you're ready to propose or ready to upgrade, visit Diamond Cellar at Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center. Learn more at diamondcellar.com. Did you guys happen to see the television ratings for the Hall of Fame game? 7 million people watched the Hall of Fame game. That was the audience number. That was bigger than any Major League Baseball game this year. That was bigger than every NHL game, including the Stanley Cup final. Watched Kenny Pickett and Carson Beck.
Because we're sickos.
We are.
That number doesn't surprise me at all. It didn't surprise me seeing that yesterday.
No, but it's amazing how far football has gone and how big it has gotten that we will take in any of it, college or pro. I don't know if, on the UFL side, I don't know if that hasn't happened. I mean, they do fine, 600,000-700,000. I mean, but they haven't been able to do it. But there is something about us with the NFL and college football, because I think in this country, we want to watch the very best perform, and that's the very best, obviously, on the professional level, and then college football is the very best on that level. And so those two things, those Saturdays and Sundays, if it's on, we watch it. Those numbers it's a big number. It tells you, I don't know if it tells you as much about how far the NFL has grown or how far baseball and hockey have fallen.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's both those sports that you mentioned that there's a chasm divide. I think have made an effort to make it harder for people to consume their content, and that's driven fans away, and that's not kept fans that have historically been there. That it's so easy. Like I think about WGN, and think about Chicago. It was WGN in Chicago, and then Atlanta, the Superstation, in
TBS.
making their games available nationwide. And then they did the stupid RSN thing, and they had stupid local blackout restrictions, and people said, no, bleep this. Well, the NFL is just like, what channel do you watch? We're on that one. What day of the week do you watch television? We're also on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, baseball for sure. And I know you can still get some baseball games on Fox, but baseball has dropped off tremendously as the world has gotten more fast-paced. A baseball game has gone by the wayside a little bit. The hockey part of it is interesting because I don't know if it's hockey falling, because I think hockey's having some of the biggest numbers they've ever had. They've just never really been in the race. But baseball has definitely dropped off big time.
Yeah, the international stuff with hockey worked, right? I mean, like the Four Nations or Olympic hockey, that stuff always goes. The NHL, the outdoor games do well on the NHL. Anytime they're on a national network, they do well. Bettman made that mistake when he went Versus 20-some years ago or whatever it was, Lifetime, whatever, Life Channel or Lifetime.
I think it was Versus.
It was Versus at first.
I thought it was OLN
It was the Outdoor Lifestyle Network.
Was it Versus first or OLN first?
I think it was Versus first, but I could be
whatever it was.
Like the channel that at like 10 o'clock you doing bass fishing for a 6-hour block.
Well,
the guy
and it was
with the Tennessee hat. Who's that guy?
Who's that guy? It was also it was the Bass Fishing Channel. They also, their most famous thing was Lance Armstrong Tour de France when he was winning all of those, Live Strong and all of that, U.S. Postal Service, all of that. That was the height of that. Whether it was OLN or Versus, I can't remember, but it was. That's a hard one to try to explain retroactively. That a cyclist captured the attention of a nation and was at it for a time among the more famous athletes on the planet. He dated Sheryl Crow.
Every other person had a Live Strong bracelet.
I had them. My mom was dealing with cancer at the time. We all wore them. They were a symbol for the fight and all of it. One of the most inspiring tales turned so opposite. And I haven't heard from Armstrong. Didn't expect to go down this road, but I haven't heard from Lance Armstrong in years, maybe a decade. Nothing.
I was watching, it was on TV, so I had it on in the background, the movie Dodgeball the other night in that appearance where Lance Armstrong's up at the bar. He's like, hey, aren't you Peter LaFleur? And I'm like, man, how far has he fallen?
Yeah, gone. I don't know. A couple other things with the television side of things. Major League Baseball released its postseason schedule, so the 2026 World Series will start on October 23rd on Fox. A potential Game 7 will be scheduled for Saturday, October 31st. That is the day that Ohio State plays at USC. So the playoff slate opens with 4 wild card games in baseball on the 29th of September and will mark NBC's return to Major League Baseball's postseason fray. It's not aired playoff games since 2000 on that side of things. My guess is Ohio State will be in primetime on NBC on that day, would be my guess. That at
Fingers
USC.
Crossed.
Yeah. We're not going to benefit from it, but at least when they go on the West Coast, they can play in primetime a little bit. A couple other things from a television side of things. I see the NBA put out their schedule for the Christmas Day and the opener. So they're going to go Sixers hosting the Cavs on opening night, and then they're going to go Sixers at Lakers on Christmas. The NFL is, and so their Christmas Day slate has like the Spurs and the Knicks, the Heat and the Celtics, Sixers at Lakers. The NFL says hold. Very nice games. The NFL says, why don't you hold our beer? We're going to go Packers at Bears, Bills at Broncos, and Rams at Seahawks. Enjoy that.
Better games.
They just stole it.
Yeah, the Cavs and Sixers on opening week is brutal. I think actually the Sixers will open at Madison Square Garden on that Tuesday, October 20th. And then they're going to host Cleveland. I think that's the Phillies home opener. So they're going to have LeBron. And the Cavs are going to come to town and get beat by 20 or win by 20. I don't think there's a middle ground there.
I'll tell you one that would be interesting is how he's received in Los Angeles. I know how he's going to be received in Cleveland. He's going to be booed.
Probably apathy.
I don't know. I know he's going to be booed in Cleveland. Yes. And he hasn't been booed in Cleveland since the first 2 years in Miami. But he'll be booed up there.
But, Bo, he gave the Cavs an interview.
Yeah. Amazing how they tried to spin that. You and I didn't talk about that. How they leaked that story out there.
They invited the team to Bath and they talked with him.
They did their best
effort. How about that?
It's an amazing job of cover that they tried to take on that. Second hour of the program coming up next. Amanda Christovich going to join us on the Business of Sports at 10:30. We kick it off with the real truth. Jeremiah Smith, chances of going number 1 overall less than Julian Sands. We will get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
And to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
How many of you have had your garage floor done? I'll wait for the answer. Yeah, that's enough. How many of you think it looks like crap? That's because it is crap. One quick call to Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they can install a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor in one day. A Comer & Cross garage floor is the gold standard. It's like pulling into a new car showroom every night. And here's the best part. It is guaranteed your garage floor will never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. And listen, you lazy bum, they'll even take the stuff out of the garage for you. They're all certified uniform pros, no subcontractors at Comer & Cross. This is a premier product with premier results, and they hired a premier endorser to tell you about it. For your quick and easy Comer & Cross garage floor quote, call 1-800-NEW-FLOOR now. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or go to comercross.com, COMER cross.com.
For a limited time, enjoy a basic wash for just $5 at Ultimate Shine Car Wash. Plus, every visit includes free vacuums, microfiber towels, and mat and glass cleaner. Text radio to 80402 to receive your offer and stop by Ultimate Shine today. Visit ultimateshinecarwash.com for locations. Offer valid now through August 3rd. Text radio to 80402. By providing your phone number, you agree to receive automated text messages. Consent not required for purchase. The number of marketing communications may vary per month. Reply stop to cancel and help for help. Message and data rates may apply. Terms of use and privacy notice apply. See ultimateshinecarwash.com for details.
Common Man and Bob Capace here. So, Bob, you got this ring builder thing on your website.
Yep, you pick the diamond, the setting, customize your own engagement ring before you even come in this store.
I actually tried it.
You did?
It was ridiculously easy.
See, if Common Man can build a perfect ring online,
anybody can, because I'm dumb.
Then book an appointment and we'll help make it exactly the way you designed it.
That's why I always tell people, I know a guy. You too can design your own engagement ring with the ring builder at worthingtonjewelers.com. If I can do it, anyone can.
Worthington Jewelers, where Columbus gets engaged.
Recalculating route. Estimated arrival time. Never.
I'm Dr. Kandula, founder of Advent. For people with nasal congestion, sinus pressure, sleep apnea, snoring, or allergies, finding a solution feels like a never-ending road trip.
First stop, my primary doctor. Then the pharmacy. Then a sleep specialist. Then an ENT.
What if there was just one destination to treat your problems for good? Welcome to Advent, your one stop for breathing and sleep relief for over 20 years. Unlike other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions,
so you get comprehensive care.
96% of patients with severe nasal breathing issues report improvement. Plus, most insurance is accepted for these effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
You have arrived at Clear Breathing.
Every summer morning is different. Luckily, Tim Hortons has a breakfast wrap for every morning. Kick off your summer with the bold new steak and egg wrap. Start your morning fresh with the egg white and Swiss wrap. Or keep it classic with the grilled breakfast wrap. No matter what summer mood you're in, you can always find a wrap at Tim Hortons. Your morning happy place.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Enjoy a $5 sausage McMuffin with egg extra value meal, complete with hash browns and a small coffee. Most stores open 5 a.m. or earlier. Price and participation may vary. Promotion pricing may be lower than meal pricing.
Nothing annoys me more than wasting time. Scotty Vegas here, and I want to be golfing or playing tennis or betting on people golfing and playing tennis. I hate waiting on an oil change, but that's all changed. Krieger Ford, the car buying experience was amazing. The service, just as good. I left my Bronco in the driveway and easily scheduled an oil change at KriegerFord.com, and they even came right to me and changed it. All game changer, the Krieger Ford experience. Experience that at KriegerFord.com.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios. Driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. We're 25 days out from Ohio State and Ball State on Saturday, September 5th at Ohio Stadium. Buckeyes are holding their 5th practice of fall camp this morning at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. New offensive coordinator Arthur Smith will meet with the media following practice on Wednesday. In the NFL, the Bengals host the Lions Thursday in their first preseason game. The Browns are at the Bears Saturday at 1. The NBA announced the upcoming regular season today. It's going to begin Tuesday, October 20th. LeBron James will play the defending champs on opening night. The Knicks will host the Sixers at MSG. On Thursday, October 22nd, the Sixers will host the Cleveland Cavaliers. In baseball, Tuesday, the Guardians are in Detroit versus the Tigers at 6:40. The Reds begin a 3-game set in Chicago, taking on the White Sox at 7:40. This update is sponsored by High Bank Distillery Co., locally inspired dishes and award-winning cocktails. Visit highbankco.com and make your reservation today. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
29 minutes from now, Amanda Christovich will join us on the business of college sports, and a lot to get to on that side of things. We kick the hour off, though, by hitting the real truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years.
So Jordan Reed of ESPN says Jeremiah Smith's got a smaller chance of going number 1 overall in the 2027 NFL draft than Julian Sain. Julian Sain's got a 2% chance to go number 1. Jeremiah Smith's got a 1% chance to go number 1 overall. Julian with better odds over Jeremiah. Is that the real truth?
No. And there's several reasons I wanted to get into this a little bit. The first of them is I think both of their chances of going number 1 overall are better than 2 and 1. Second of all, the guy that he has number 1 on this list is Dante Moore, who I think would have been a top 5 to 10 pick in last year's NFL draft had he come out. The thing about this that's interesting to me is not the Julian part of it, but rather the Jeremiah part of it. There are several non-quarterbacks that he has as higher percentages than Jeremiah, including Dylan Stewart, the defensive end at South Carolina. I think he has Colin Simmons ahead of Jeremiah as well. The thing that the point that I don't think this is the real truth is this. If a team that has a young quarterback drafts number 1 overall, I can't bet, but if I could, I would say that there's a very good chance that team would draft Jeremiah Smith. So who's a team that could be? Well, what about the Miami Dolphins? What about if Malik Willis has a really nice year, but they still go 3-14 because they don't have weapons around him? Are we sure that they would trade out of that pick and not just take Jeremiah Smith and give him a weapon? That's the example I kept coming back to. Is it a long odds that somebody other than a quarterback goes number 1? Yeah, but 1% is way too low, and I cannot see a scenario where Jeremiah Smith is not the first non-quarterback off the board. I just can't see it.
If this was for the Heisman Trophy and it said Julian Sain had better odds than Jeremiah Smith to win the Heisman Trophy, I could get behind that. But not the number 1 pick in the draft. We have no guarantee that Julian Sain is coming out. Dom Tiberi hasn't come on this show and declared that yet. He did with Jeremiah Smith.
He did, yeah.
So, in most of the mock drafts, a lot of them don't even have Julian Sain in it. And if they do, he's down in the 20s. Now, I know this is early and things can change with all of that. And I understand that quarterback is the most highly coveted position. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't seem like the NFL is all in on Julian Sain. The NFL seems like they're all in on Dante Moore. It seems like they're all in on Arch Manning, C.J. Carr. So if this was the Heisman Trophy, yeah, this would be the real truth. But number 1 pick in the draft, I don't think so.
Deshaun Watson will start for the Cleveland Browns September 13th in Jacksonville. Is that the real truth?
I mean, it feels like it's headed that way. I don't think but this isn't new. The other thing, and we spent the whole first half hour of the program talking about this a little bit. One other thing to remember is you have to understand that the quarterback competition up there has been going on all off season. I mean, they had a full off season program. I mean, Todd Monken probably knows who he wants to start. right? He just probably wants somebody to grab it by the throat. That's my guess. But he knows. He's seen a ton of these guys over the course of the last 6 months. And I told you guys throughout the offseason that my hunch would be that it would be Deshaun, just because of what I saw and how Deshaun looked. And in camp, they both kind of had their moments. I also think it's easier, and this is not scores, this is just kind of common sense. I think it would be easier to start Watson, and if it doesn't go well, play Shedeur versus the other way around. Start Shedeur, and then if that doesn't go well, play Watson. I think it would be easier to do the former than the latter. So just connecting dots from an entire offseason and camp, yeah, I do think that this is a logical, real truth, but I don't think anything's decided yet. And I think Todd Monken probably wants one of those guys to grab the job by the throat. Deshaun did that last Wednesday at a really good camp, and his reps went up a little bit. But we'll see where this all goes.
I think this is the real truth, and I think it's always been the real truth. I hate what you just said, though, Bo, about, well, it's going to be easier to start Deshaun and then bring in Shedeur than the other way around. Like, if that's what they're thinking, and I don't think they're thinking that way, but if that's the way they're thinking, T-Bone and Tyvis in the morning have something they call loser talk. Mm-hmm. And that's what I feel that is. Like, you play the person that you think is going to give you the best chance to win games. And I think that's always been Deshaun. I watched Shedeur Sanders last year, and Shedeur Sanders showed some promise to me, but there's a couple years of work that I feel needs to go into Shedeur Sanders before he's ready to start and win a lot of football games in the National Football League. Deshaun Watson has won games in the National Football League before. He's been a quarterback that at one time in this league was a top 5 quarterback. Now, we're a long ways from that. Mm-hmm. But I just think there's little things, like you talked about the procedure penalties, and you said that Shedeur has been better at that recently, but there's just issues there. That kind of stuff costs you games in the NFL. So I don't think Todd Monken wants to put up with that. So I think Deshaun is going to start, and I think he always was going to start.
Brandon Inniss will be Ohio State's second leading receiver this upcoming season. Is that the real truth?
Yeah. That's the real truth. I think we all like the shiny new toys, and I think they're going to like them too. But I don't see a scenario where Brandon Inniss is off the field much. I think him and Jeremiah basically stay out there almost all the time. And, yeah, I think he's up for a big year, and I think that he will be the second leading receiver on this team.
Bad job out of me for not having his stats up and ready.
I know. I was pulling
them up right now. So last year, Brandon Inniss had 36 catches, 271 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Brandon Inniss was on the field a lot last year. I don't believe this is the real truth. And again, kind of like Deshaun Watson, I've never thought this was the real truth. I still believe Chris Henry Jr. is going to find a way on the field because he brings something to the game that none of these receivers can except for Jeremiah. And I just believe he's going to be the perfect complement. I think Ohio State's going to play a lot of 3 receiver sets. I do believe Brandon Inniss will be on the field quite a bit, but I think Chris Henry Jr. is going to be out there a lot too. And I think Chris Henry Jr. is going to be the second leading receiver on this team. Although all the hype you heard of Devin McCune this past week might make you think maybe he can cut into there a little bit too.
We'll do one from the NBA. I'll be watching a Christmas Day game with the National Basketball Association. Is that the real truth?
So, will I watch what I don't know that I watched other than postseason. I don't know that I watched an NBA game start to finish all year. So, I mean, typically the way Christmas goes in our house is old St. Nick comes the night before. We open presents in the morning, and then we have a brunch with family. When the boys were younger, then it was time for your Uncle Bo to put together things. So we would put things together. We would a lot of times do board games, that type of stuff. And then so then you'd have kind of the TV on would be on in the background. And I will say, when NBC was little, before the NFL decided they were going to take all the holidays, it was the NBA that was on. And it was kind of fun to watch, Cavs and Warriors play one of 2 times a year, whether it be in Golden State or up in Cleveland. That was kind of fun. But now I would say that the predominant television would be on the NFL, and so that's typically what I do. Do I think that I will flip over to an NBA game at some point? Probably. Could I see it be second screening background? Yeah. But no, I don't. It's probably not the real truth if you're suggesting sit there and watch an NBA game. I don't think that. I will say this, of all the things I'm most curious about on that Christmas Day with the slate of NFL and NBA, what I most would want to see is the reaction to LeBron in LA. If that's their first and only trip to Los Angeles, that's what I'm most curious about. But that's what, 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Then it's done, and then they play a game.
That game starts at 5 o'clock Eastern. So I didn't know this. The NBA's got 5 games on Christmas Day. It's the 19th straight year they've done that.
Yeah.
Noon, Spurs at Knicks. 2:30, Giannis and the Heat are at the Boston Celtics. Then the 5 o'clock Sixers Lakers. Your nightcap looks like OKC at Minnesota. And then at 10:30, the Nuggets are at the Warriors. So decent, but like you, I think it's decent to have on in the background.
I wish they would go back to wearing the holiday jerseys, too. I loved those. When they would have the one-off Christmas jerseys, those were sweet. Go ahead, Vic.
So if this was 5 years ago, I would say, I'd probably be tuning in to LeBron returning to L.A. and just seeing a little bit of that game and what it was all about. But now that you have 3 NFL games on, absolutely not, especially... I believe the Rams and Seahawks are going to be the nightcap, so that won't be during that. But Bills and Broncos is pretty good, too. So, yeah.
Bears, Packers?
5 years ago, I'd probably turn into that Lakers-76ers game. Not now.
What day does Christmas fall on this year?
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, once the NFL, the only days that are hard for the NFL to play are Tuesday, Wednesday. Everything else now is very easy for them to do, but they've done a Tuesday, Wednesday. They've done that. Didn't they do that a couple years ago for Christmas? They played on a Wednesday. So they've even done that. So they had those pods where the 2 teams were both kind of in it together. So that's kind of the spot they're in right now. Raj has just taken over the world when it comes to sports and television. A 20-team playoff? Where exactly did this come from? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible, but Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the Columbus community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
State Fair food is getting smaller and pricier.
We'll have room for fried cookies.
Okay, you'd never overspend on food. What's your deal?
What's his deal? He went to Metro and got $450 in value on the new Samsung Galaxy A37 5G for free and no activation fees.
Free phone? Oh, sign me up.
Get that more for your money feeling. Only on Metro by T-Mobile.
For your number and activate $40 period plan. $450 based on device discount, waived activation fee. Not available if with Metro T-Mobile in the past 180 days.
What does it mean to live here, serve here in the Ohio Army National Guard?
It means I can attend college full-time and not have to take out student loans to pay for my tuition.
It means I can work my civilian job during the week and support my state and nation in times of need.
You too can live here, serve here as a member of the Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with full-time benefits at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Leon was about to leave the military.
My biggest concern was, what am I going to do next?
He found out about My Computer Career and their military transition program.
The Cyber Warrior program takes you from not knowing anything about a computer at all to being a subject matter expert.
How long is that going to take?
In the span of 4 months, I was able to get 4 different certifications.
4 months? Leon's advice?
Highly recommended.
Become a certified cyber warrior in just months at mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. VA education benefits available to those who qualify.
On this episode of Science Stuff, we're examining the fastest things on the planet. Like the cheetah. It can reach a land speed of over probably having an off day happens to everybody, but here is the American race car. People love the thrill of the... Okay. Next up is the Falcon. No, all right. Oh, Great Caesar's ghost, what was that? Why, I think we've found the fastest... Let's watch in slow motion.
Hi, it's Alex, the friendly Apex Pro.
It's Apex Pros, the pros who knows. They're the fastest thing on the planet. When you have a problem with your plumbing, furnace, air conditioner, or electrical system, Apex Pros gets to you faster than apparently everything. Leaves are blown from trees. Paint is stripped from buildings. Mothers clutch their children's hands. Because when you have something broken in your plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, you don't want to wait.
Columbus loves Apex Pros. ApexPros.com.
What defines Ohio? A place that dares to go first and never looks back. There's no slowing us down. At Jobs Ohio, our mission is clear. Strengthen job opportunities and empower Ohio's workforce. Another reason why Ohio is now ranked the #1 state for business by CNBC. This is what unstoppable feels like. We did it together, Ohio. Our time is now. See Ohio's momentum at jobsohio.com/Ohio's time.
Do you have foot pain? Foot pain is not normal regardless of your age or job. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet and can provide important foot care solutions or shoe inserts to better manage foot pain. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. We've been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
In the old days when people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, ooh, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Throughout the rest of your Tuesday, tracking showers and storms continued later this evening. The main focus with those storms is pretty much heavy rainfall and gusty winds. Highs today right around 85 degrees, feeling warm with that humidity as well. We're keeping an eye out for the possibility of seeing more flash flooding throughout the rest of your Tuesday. I'm your 10 Weather Impact meteorologist, Lily Aldridge, 97.1 The Fan.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Let's just be very clear about, and I think everybody out there knows, we have a very, very sophisticated football audience here. This is all going to be about money and power. Like whatever happens here. And Amanda Christovich can shed some light on this in 12 minutes. But the reality is that this is going to be about money and power. And so for the longest time, the Southeastern Conference was proposing and hopeful for a 16-team playoff format. For the longest time, the last couple of years, the Big Ten and their power brokers were hoping for a 24-team playoff format. Now, you have to remember this, and it's worth a reminder. The SEC is in business with ESPN. ESPN currently controls the college football playoff. They have it entirely to themselves, so much so that they didn't plan for it, that they even have to farm out games to Turner because they have college basketball games and sometimes NFL that they are contractually obligated to show instead, so they've had to farm out some of these games to Turner. Fox, who is in business with the Big Ten, desperately wants to get into this world. They desperately want to broadcast college football playoff games. My guess is that CBS and NBC, who also have limited partnerships with the Big Ten, are hoping for the same. So what does a 24 team playoff do for Fox, CBS, and NBC? It allows for them to get into the game of the college football playoff. You guys get sick of it. Ross Bjork gets sick of talking about it, but this is all inventory. This is all television shows. We coined that years ago around here, that sports games are TV shows. That's what it is now. It's all just your entertainment dollar. So there has been, in the last 6 months, an incredible change of kind of the narrative around this. For the longest time, most people had very little interest in the 2014 playoff. Like when Petitti first rolled it out, I want to say it was a year ago at the Big Ten meetings, we were all like, 24, that's awful. I still don't want 24, for the record, I don't. But people around the sport, most especially the people in the SEC, started to get wind of it 24 and say, hey, that's not bad. That's pretty good CYA. That's pretty good job security. Maybe 24 would be a win. So yesterday, kind of out of the clear blue sky, all of a sudden, we had a 20-team format that was thrown about. So this is coming from ESPN. They are working to see if a 20-team format can work. So here's what they're trying to do. They're basically trying to reverse engineer a 16-team format with 4 play-in games for the final 4 spots, seed 13 through 16. So you'd have 8 teams ranked. What would that be? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 13 through 20 would play for those final spots 13 through 16. This would then take place, because again, inventory, this would take place of the SEC title game. This would take place of the Big Ten title game. This would take place of the Big Ten and the ACC title games. And so this would be 4 more pieces of inventory that would replace that. But instead of, for example, seeing Alabama play Georgia, seeing Ohio State play Indiana, instead what you would get is, you might get, for an example, the 13th ranked Michigan Wolverines taking on the 20th ranked Utah Utes in a battle for the 13th spot. So I think that's better. From a TV perspective, I would rather watch that than Bama, Georgia, with really nothing on the line, acknowledging that the quality of play is probably going to be better Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Indiana than it's going to be the 13 versus 22. But at least there's real stakes on the line. And then you get to a 16-team playoff. I understand they're just trying to reverse engineer it. I completely understand they're just trying to make sure that they control the sport. I get all of that. But I am so anti-24 that this one, to me, feels like maybe an olive branch that I could get behind a little bit.
You threw out a sneaky good matchup there, too. Was it Utah, Michigan?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well. Well, that would work out pretty well television-wise. Or if you want to, they're going to try to paint some of these games that are going to be turds. They're going to try to paint them gold. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get, because this is happening. When I see, they've got to December 1st, that soft date on when they want to, if it's probably when's probably the better word here, expanding this college football playoff to let ESPN know if it's going to expand into 2027. But what's it? 16 teams, then 20 teams, then 24 teams. Somewhere they're going to find a happy medium, and we're all going to groan about as hard as we can groan about this.
Yeah.
But these virtual meetings here where it's just throwing stuff at the wall. So on one hand, I'm like, I don't care what they're doing. But at the other hand, it's like what they're doing is going to matter eventually.
So it sounds like this is all ESPN driven, so they can control everything.
Yeah.
And if I'm Fox, I'm telling them to go pound sand, because I don't get anything out of this, and I'm losing my Big Ten Conference Championship game.
Well,
get the hell out of here.
My guess is that they would get some of those games.
Maybe so.
They would get a replacement. They'd get a play-in game.
Maybe so, but Michigan, Utah isn't as good as Ohio State, Oregon.
The stakes might be higher, though.
Why don't we just make the conference championship games a play-in game? How about that?
I can't see any of the conferences going for that.
It's expanding, I know, but I hate it. I don't why isn't the regular season our play-in games? I don't get that.
I know.
It just drives me nuts. And
I know. So if we just use the college football, the coaches poll, this is what your 4 games would be. Let's just use that from the coaches poll that was out last week. So if you use the coaches poll from last week, 13 versus 20 would be LSU versus SMU. 14 versus 19 would be USC and Washington. 15 versus 18 would be BYU, Tennessee. And 16 versus 17 would be Michigan against Penn State.
I mean, I don't hate these.
I mean,
with the idea to play in.
2 of those games we're going to see in the regular season, though, right?
I know, but I mean, I just use it as an example. But what I'm saying is, I mean, they would reverse engineer it. The rankings are arbitrary. They could move Michigan and Penn State one spot here or there. Like, for example, you could have Michigan, you could put BYU at 17 and have Michigan play BYU, and Kyle Whittingham has to go back to Provo and play against his old rival. Like, that's what you could do with it. You don't have to do it this way. I'm for anything that isn't 24. So, to me, 16. If I got to expand it, I would go to 16. I actually prefer 16 to 12 because I hate the buys. I think 8's the number, but we're never going to contract this thing, ever. So it's just how big do you get and how much can you handle it? So at least this, like, for example, like we're talking about Indiana, Ohio State, and Alabama, Georgia. I mean, what was the ACC title game last year? Wasn't it Duke and Virginia?
It was.
I mean, that was the ACC title game, and neither team got in. What was the Big 12 championship game? Was it Texas Tech?
Texas Tech, BYU.
BYU?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, these seem like better games.
If there is something to be taken out of this from a positive, this will force, I don't know, I can say for sure, but this could force a calendar conversation. Any kind of expansion forces the calendar conversation, in my opinion, because whether you want to add just 2 or you want to add 4 and just make this a 16-teamer, or you want to go nuts and go to 24, you're going to have to take a hard look at how this thing sets up. Because if you're right now going to the end of January, I think that's probably the furthest college football will go in terms of a season. So then are you going back into August?
Yeah.
So then how does everything look? How does National Signing Day look? How does the transfer portal look? Like, all of these ripple effects come from any type of expansion. So that could be good.
Yeah. This from Vaniti's reporting, and this is why I think this is interesting. The 20-team format wasn't on the agenda. It only came up after one participant inquired about an ex-post from college football media personality Josh Pate.
Who's he worked for?
I don't even know. Does he do?
He works for
stuff
ESPN.
For ESPN now. He's like a contributor, though, right? Like, I don't think he's like an employee.
He might be like the McAfee thing where they're just paying for the Josh Pate experience.
Yeah. He wrote on Sunday that the idea was percolating. Discussion of the matter during Monday's meeting was brief and dismissed, as the agenda instead focused on a potential college football expansion to 16 or 24. But those conversations didn't advance much either. It does feel like, and we'll have Paul on in 2 days at 10:30, and we'll ask him about it. It does feel like that as we sit here right now, the SEC and the Big Ten have not been further apart on this. And so if you ask me to handicap it on Tuesday, August 11th, 10:28, my hunch is it stays at 12 as it stands right now. So, because if the two of them can't agree, you're just going to do status quo. And that seems to be kind of where we are with all of this. Go ahead, Vic, quick.
I think we should just make every game matter. So just get rid of the regular season, make the whole regular season the college football playoff, because it's really not fair that Northwestern never gets into this thing. And let's just make the whole thing a college football playoff, and then all of the inventory will matter and everyone will care.
This just turned into Pepe Sylvia now. You just chose violence. Speaking of Northwestern, did you see the money they got pledged today?
I did see that. That's probably why they were in my head.
That's probably why, $35 million for their NIL to be a comprehensive football power at Northwestern. They've got the money. They got the new stadium now. Why can't Northwestern be the Vanderbilt of the North and all of a sudden be a contender? Amanda Christovich on all of this stuff, front office sports and business. She's covered this better than anybody. She's up in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
When it's too hot to go out, it's definitely too hot for your AC to go out. The Waterworks Heating and Cooling Pros are here to help. We offer fast repair and AC replacement for any cooling system when you need it. Plus, we're a premier Lennox dealer and can install an energy-efficient system for a great price. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit us online at thewaterworks.com. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread build-it-yourself furniture that came in 47 different pieces.
Why do I have 6 extra screws?
With extremely vague instructions.
What are these? Hieroglyphics?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do its best for their policyholders. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. NJM. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
UFC Fight Night is back, and the only place to catch every punch, kick, and knockout in full-on Sports Lodge glory is Twin Peaks. Settle in with scratch-made favorites, legendary wings, and 29-degree draft beer that hits colder than a heavyweight takedown. With wall-to-wall TVs, you won't miss a single moment of the action. Grab your crew and make it a fight night to remember. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The show that understands the importance of a situational beverage. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, around here, when we want to get smarter on the business of sports, we turn to our good buddy Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports. She joins on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Amanda, thank you so much for the time. How close was the Protect College Sports Act to actually becoming real? What was your sense of that?
Good question. It was certainly an interesting Friday night. And before I answer your question, I will say that I learned more about the intricacies of Senate procedure than I ever cared to know and would love to soon forget. I mean, we were closer than I thought we were ever going to get. I'll put it that way. There was a lot of momentum from, obviously, Ted Cruz, who does have a very powerful position in the Senate, who, this bill was his brainchild. There was a coordinated lobbying effort from, the sponsors of the bill, in addition to university presidents, including those in the Big Ten and SEC, who had recently agreed to sign on. Ultimately, what it came down to was several senators on both sides of the aisle declining to put the bill on the floor as part of what is called a global agreement to basically get them out of town, at the buzzer. They had like 4 other things that they needed to get done. So basically what they do is they come up with this agreement to say, like, okay, all 100 senators, or, without Mitch McConnell, 99, who are in town, agreed that, like, we're going to vote on these 3, 4, 5 things. We're going to fast track them, skip a bunch of steps, and then we're all going to get on our jets and leave D.C. for our recess that we also very much want. Ultimately, they couldn't agree to get this bill onto that docket, so they will have a vote in September instead. But we got a lot closer than a lot of people thought, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, certainly closer than I thought. What were some of the concessions that they made to the bill to get the SEC and the Big Ten to get on board?
Well, originally, obviously, there was so much drama, as you know, about this question about the expansion portion of the bill that singled out the Big Ten and the SEC and said, you two conferences cannot merge at a point in the future. And the Big Ten and the SEC took the position of, well, we have no plans to merge, but we don't think it's fair to single us out. So they expanded that provision to be all power conferences. And then they also added, this provision about you can continue to add members, you can expand, but only up to 19. And then there was that 5-year waiting period. So that seemed to, quell some of their concerns there. They also included a provision that protected the Big Ten and SEC legally if other conferences wanted to pool media rights. That the Big Ten and the SEC wouldn't be sued or forced legally to do that. It was to make sure it was optional. And then, there were a bunch of other things, but the other big holdup was about the rev share cap and how cap circumvention was going to be dealt with in this bill. There were concerns about they wanted to ban, theoretically, or at least according to Ted Cruz, they wanted to ban school sponsors or apparel companies or MMR deals procured by MMR partners like Learfield from being, from existing at all. And Ted Cruz basically said, look, we're not going to do that. Players deserve the right to make NIL money. But they were able to add, provisions where you had to write down, you had to swear and not an official affidavit, but you had to swear on your life in a written statement to the College Sports Commission that it was a true NIL deal and not cap circumvention. And eventually the Big Ten and the SEC signed on to that.
All right, Amanda, the natural follow-up to that is who exactly was going to police all of this?
Well, this is a question we had last week because people were saying, well, okay, if these NIL cap circumvention rules get enshrined into federal law, which is not the case for any other sports league, could you go to jail if you violate them? The answer to that is no. We were able to confirm with people who worked on the bill that basically it was all a civil. It was a civil code, not a criminal code, and that the enforcement entity was just going to be the College Sports Commission. The bill empowered the College Sports Commission to investigate and oversee all of these rules without fear of legal challenges. But there was no other government body that either was existing or that they were thinking of creating that would be involved in enforcement. So it was basically just this idea of a beefed up CSC, which a lot of people rolled their eyes at, to say the least.
I'm sorry I scoffed because, come on. What do we do? Good luck. Good luck with that, enforcing any of this. I talked to leaders in the Big Ten and leaders here in Columbus at Ohio State, and one of the kind of feelings I got was this isn't perfect, but it's something. We've been asking for something. There isn't anything perfect out there. This is at least addresses some of the things that we have an issue with. My guess is you've heard similar to the people that you've talked to of the most powerful people in the sport. So if this is a something, how likely is it that anything comes of this now in September, or is the fear that because this was missed, that this will not be addressed again in September? We got an election coming up. There's a lot of going on in the world as well, as you know. Right. What are the odds that anything comes of this? Was this kind of we had our opportunity on Friday and we missed it. It wasn't perfect, but there's enough here that we could have worked with some of it. What is your sense of that?
Well, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to get this bill to President Trump's desk before the end of the calendar year. And if they don't do it by the end of the calendar year, there's a new Congress and they have to restart the process all over again. So, December 31st is arguably the date, right? That's the drop dead date. There is still a decent possibility, I would say, that they will vote, that this bill will get through the Senate in September. If they do have 60 votes, the Senate Majority Leader John Thune has said he will put it on the floor between September 15th and September 23rd. That was part of this agreement to get out of town in August. Mm-hmm. So we're watching that. However, the question is, do they really have as many votes as they say they do? If they don't, they won't put the bill up for a vote at all, right? So that's still up in the air too. But let's live in the world for a second that they do, so I can just walk you through. Then the bill goes to the House. We have no indication of whether or not it is going to pass the House because a lot of the dynamics that sunk the SCORE Act will continue to be at play in the House. The Congressional Black Caucus is very powerful in the House. There are renegades in the House in a way that there aren't necessarily always in the Senate. And last we heard, House leadership, including Steve Scalise, who's a SEC Louisiana guy, have come out actually against the bill. We haven't heard from them since the SEC and the Big Ten signed on to it. So maybe there's a way that, leadership will get on board and do some arm twisting. But, we don't even know if House leadership is interested in this bill. So if they're not, then it's certainly not getting to the floor before the midterms or even in the lame duck period. So, there's a steep and difficult path for any bill, let alone this one.
Man, I'm going to get you out of here on this one. When you've talked to the people that are participating in the sport, I'm talking about athletic directors, conference presidents, people at universities, people that are powerful. Is there one thing that they want most done here, especially in regard to college football? Is there one part of this that means the most to them? What is the one thing they would can we just do this? If you got like a honey-do list with like 15 things on it, what's the number one thing?
I mean, it depends who you talk to. If it's the NCAA, I think it's the no employee thing. And then the eligibility thing is a close second. I think the broad strokes answer to that question, though, is stability. However, clearly a lot of folks are losing any confidence that they may have had to begin with in Congress in being able to grant that stability, despite the Big Ten and SEC ultimately, I think, signing on to this bill because they felt like stability, a little bit of stability with this bill was better than nothing. But there are other folks who are considering other mechanisms for stability, who are wondering, this SEC rules breakaway, collective bargaining, it doesn't have to be Congress. So I think the question becomes, when it's clear that Congress is not going to be able to deliver, what is Plan B? And I'm not hearing a lot of what Plan B would be in a broad enough way that it seems like there's a consensus or even really an appetite across the board, across multiple conferences to figure out Plan B. And that concerns me.
Yeah, me too. Probably just going to be the way it is for the foreseeable future. Amanda, thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it and your expertise.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right, Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports, joining us on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Yeah, bet on status quo, kids. Just bet on the status quo. That's likely what you're going to be in for the foreseeable future. We'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you. The meatloaf! The Fan.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
How many of you have had your garage floor done? I'll wait for the answer. Yeah, that's enough. How many of you think it looks like crap? That's because it is crap. One quick call to Comer & Cross Concrete Floor Coatings at 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, and they can install a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor in one day. A Comer & Cross garage floor is the gold standard. It's like pulling into a new car showroom every night. And here's the best part. It is guaranteed your garage floor will never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint ever. And listen, you lazy bum, they'll even take the stuff out of the garage for you. They're all certified uniform pros. No subcontractors at Comer & Cross. This is a premier product with premier results, and they hired a premier endorser to tell you about it. For your quick and easy Comer & Cross garage floor quote, call 1-800-NEW-FLOOR now. That's 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or go to ComerCross.com, C-O-M-E-R cross.com.
Something big has just dropped at Hothead Burritos. Introducing barbecue pork carnitas. Juicy, mouth-watering pork carnitas. Our limited-time new citrus chipotle barbecue sauce. Savor the summer flavor. Hothead Burritos. Get up and get you some.
Kick off football season behind the wheel of a 2026 Toyota Tundra from Germain Toyota of Columbus. Right now, get $299 APR financing for up to 72 months on the rugged Tundra. Don't miss your chance to score big. Visit Germain Toyota of Columbus just off I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net.
This is Gordon Miller for Miller Lending, the original home of the no-cost mortgage. As a third-generation family-owned business, I learned early on the importance of relationships and always looking out for the best interest of the consumer. So back in 1987, I witnessed firsthand how closing costs worked and did not like what I saw. Averaging upwards of $15,000, the cost of refinancing was so high, it prevented borrowers from lowering their payment, while the cash to close on a purchase was doubled. That's insane. So 39 years ago, I developed a loan option without any cost at all. Instead of using your money, we used the lender's money. The result? A zero closing cost mortgage. Fast forward to today, and we've now saved consumers over $500 million in needless fees. So before you hand your money over to your lender, call Miller Lending and see why a no-cost loan is right for you. 877-9-NO-COST, or simply apply online at nocostmortgage.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2502146.
Prepare for cooler weather ahead at your local AAA Tire and Auto Service. Their fall maintenance package includes an oil change, tire rotation, windshield wiper replacement, and more for just $119.99. Offer valid through August 31st. See store for details.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At Wright Pat Credit Union, we are owned by our members, not shareholders. So our only bottom line is you.
What's the catch?
There isn't one. I mean, I guess you have to be a member.
Uh-huh. And what's that cost?
Oh, there's no monthly cost.
Oh, but there's a bunch of eligibility restrictions, right?
No. If you live here, you can bank here.
No catch. What is this?
It's banking done right. Wright Pat Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Your favorite fan shows are available as a podcast. What a concept. And don't miss exclusive podcast content like Austin and Byrne. Listen on your schedule from anywhere in the world. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
The Fan Poll is sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub, home of award-winning pizza and $2 tall boys. All day, every day.
The best hair on the air. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Over the weekend, the Buffalo Bills hosted their annual return of the blue and red training camp practice, but for the first time at the new $2.2 billion Highmark Stadium. Personal seat license owners were able to sit in their new seats for the first time. By now, you've likely seen the images, less than ideal, of some of seats with clear visibility issues. The team and several of their top men made statements yesterday about that scuttlebutt. COO Pete Jueli told reporters, quote, any building you would walk into, there would be some obstructed seating. There are seats where we could create a different design, put in a blank area, or they give you the option to put in a seat that might be obstructed for football, but can be used for any other event like a concert. There's always partial view or limited view seats, and we think those are pretty clearly depicted in our virtual venue, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
Here's the thing I don't know. I don't know if he's telling the real truth here. So, did you buy a seat with an obstructed view? You would know that. For example, like if you're in B deck at Ohio Stadium and you're on the east side of the stadium and you're in B deck there are some views there that are quite obstructed. I had season tickets in B deck for a long time, and sometimes if they punted, you couldn't see the ball as it went too high, or there would be a column so I guess in the virtual venue, if you saw that it was depicted and it was there, then you have no beef. It's in the brochure. The problem would be is if they said that they weren't obstructed and they were, then you've got a problem, and that's something that I don't know the real truth on. So I think his explanation here makes sense. Like, you can either have nothing there, you can have an obstructed football view that you could sell at a lesser price, and that's something that would be used for concerts and stuff like that. So I guess I would just, before I could answer if it's a thing or not a thing, I would have to see the virtual venue and if those obstructed views were portrayed there.
Bo, you're right. If you know, you have nothing. If you knew before you bought, you have nothing to complain about. However, I'm not an engineer, but I've been around construction enough. There is no reason with today's technologies that you would have a field that has seats with any kind of obstructed view. I understand the shoe that was built in the 1920s.
Yeah.
I get it. Things have come a long way since then. And also, you built this for football. Who gives a rip about the concerts and everything else? And I know that you're going to have those there, and I know that you're going to use those for revenue. But this is a football stadium. If you're building seats that you know cannot see the whole field of a football game, what are you doing? And especially the amount of money they put into this, there's no reason for having this. I would love to see, like, if there's any seat at Jerry World that has an obstructed view and you can't see the field. I never heard him complain about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, I mean, they're obstructed. They're not, can't see the field. The other thing I don't know is...
You can't see part of the field.
Sure, but like, for example, if you go to the old Penn State press box, there are certain seats in that press box that are really obstructed, okay? That are obstructed, and you know it. But if you shoot your camera from a certain angle, it looks more obstructed than it actually is. That's another thing I don't know on this. Like, I've seen the social media photos, but is it something where you put the angle of the camera at a spot where it looks like it's more obstructed than it is? In other words, if you lean forward a little bit, can you see all of it? That's a slightly obstructed view. All your points are valid. I just think if you knew what you were getting into, stop complaining about it.
Yeah.
You're 1,000% right. If you knew, you have nothing to whine about. There's just no sense that they should have made seats like this.
Yeah, I think his explanation, I mean, you were more in building than me, but does the explanation make sense of like, hey, like, we knew that they would be slightly obstructed and we had a choice. This could either be a blank piece of cement or we could put a seat there?
I guess, like, that happens, like, at the shot. They've got, like, that one tiny sliver around the old press box where there's, like, a seat there and you have to, like, lean way out into the aisle and forward to see the one end of the court.
Right. I don't know. I feel like
I feel like with you're spending that much money, I feel like you could have made a way where this didn't happen.
You would think, yeah.
I do think the Bills did a good job of getting out in front of it, because once those images come out, I think some teams do a poor job. They just don't say anything. This from the Bills Vice President of Stadium Development, John Polka. He told The Athletic, quote, "Seats with truly obstructed views have not been sold as a PSL for any football games. If we have a concert in the round at the 50-yard line or a stage in the north end zone, we may sell tickets for an event for those seats, but not for football."
Okay.
So they understand.
So I think, so maybe they did okay here.
Maybe they didn't have them as a PSL for football, but I bet they're selling them for football. They're making some kind of money off of it. They wouldn't have put it there if they wouldn't.
And that's fine as long as it's known.
And you can see it, and you can see what your view is.
And it's part of it.
Purchase.
You can get an obstructed view for $60 a game, or you can get a great view for $125. Some people may take the 60.
I think there are going to be a lot of people taking the 60 with the obstructed views, especially for year one of this stadium.
Yeah.
And, Super Bowl chances for the Buffalo Bills. UCLA announced it hired former NFL quarterback Derek Carr to be a special advisor to head coach Bob Chesney. Carr will help Chesney and the offensive staff with game planning and also work with Bruins quarterbacks, which includes Nico and his brother, Mad Niemalieva. Thing or not a thing?
Yeah, good for UCLA, man. Big Ten brethren throwing a little money at it. I actually was watching, BTN is doing like a training camp tour thing, and they were at UCLA, and I caught a little bit of it, I think, on Sunday night, and it was Nico talking to a couple of hosts from the Big Ten and talking about like a lot of the guys Chesney brought in and the type of energy Chesney has. UCLA could be a little bit of a sleeper team, not a playoff team, but they might be dramatically improved from last year to this year with Chesney and Nico with his second year at UCLA.
I think UCLA might have got it right here. Hiring Bob Chesney. He seems like he knows what he's doing, and UCLA has said that they're going to be in the quarterback business. They went out, they got Nico, they brought his brother Madden in. They were trying, and maybe they're still trying to lure Brady Edmonds, even though he is committed with Ohio State, saying he's going to be a Buckeye. They're trying to get quarterbacks and good ones to come there. I would think with the chance to go learn from a guy that played the position at the highest level, that would be something that's it's intriguing to some of these kids.
I don't know if you guys talked about this yesterday, what the Dallas Mavericks were offering in terms of a bounty for a 101 Cooper Flag debut patch card.
Well, we didn't, but NBC's been talking about it nonstop for a week.
Someone in Rhode Island found it.
Yeah, I got this update this morning. Go ahead.
So this Cooper Flag card 101, again, with the patch that he wore on his jersey in his very first NBA game, an NBA debut patch, was unboxed by Roadie Breakers, a division of the Baseball Cards of Rhode Island's retail shop. They opened it on a stream, and right now it's looking around the $1 million mark for that. But the Mavericks, they offered a bounty of things if you just gave it to them. They were going to give premium season tickets for 32 years, a signed game-worn Cooper Flag rookie jersey, a post-game photo op with Cooper Flag, a private photo shoot with the Rookie of the Year trophy, an expenses-paid road trip with the team, among other things. Thing or not a thing?
Well, does that equal up to $1.1 million? Like, do the season tickets for 32 years, like, could you sell those at a number? I mean, just give me the money, first of all. You know what I mean? I'm some Rhode Island card shop guy. Like, I'm not going to Cooper Flag games in Dallas, and I don't care about going on the team plane or any of that. Just give me the money. So I guess if it was won by somebody in Dallas, would it make more? I don't think in any scenario it makes more sense than taking the money. This is what's happened in sports cards. I think I've said this before. There was a guy in our town, a guy and his brother opened they got like a one-of-one Ohtani that was worth like $2.5 million. So, yeah. So it's caused like all of these, everybody's going nuts with it. Like NBC with his quote card business that I supplied the inventory for. Like that stuff is really happening right now. It's pretty crazy how they're creating this scarcity and this incredible demand.
I may need to revisit my baseball card collection here in the next couple of weeks and see if there's anything that may be worth something that it wasn't just a few years ago.
If you got stuff in the last 5 years, it's very possible. All the stuff when we were kids is worth nothing because everybody had them.
Well, way to rain on my parade.
Sorry. Yeah. It's really our parents who told us that their moms threw away their cards, which caused us all to keep them. That's really the problem. So they're just creating scarcity now. Final hour of the day, rather. Phil Steele going to join at 11:30. What did we learn from 20 Most Interesting now that it's in the books? We'll get to that next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%, which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
It's time for the summer sunset sale at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, lease a new 26 Tucson SE for $149 per month for 36 months. $149 a month. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $49.95 down plus tax title first month payment. 7,500 miles per year ends 8/31.
What can ADP do for small business? We help answer the business questions. Like, how do you track employee time? How do you do payroll taxes? Or what does compliance even mean? So small businesses can focus on bigger questions. Now florists can ask, can we invent another holiday to sell bouquets? Pizza shops can ask, how do we stuff a calzone into a pizza crust? And pool cleaners can ask, what is that thing in the filter? These are the questions you can focus on when ADP takes care of the business of your small business. ADP for small business.
Every year, tens of thousands in Central Ohio choose Columbus State Community College to start what's next. They're earning degrees that open doors to in-demand jobs, stable careers, and real earning power. They're bridging the gap to an affordable university bachelor's degree, avoiding the trap of student loan debt, and moving their lives and our community forward. Columbus State is making Central Ohio stronger. Apply today at cscc.edu.
At Babs R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement. As the Midwest's fastest growing 5-star bathroom remodeler, we're more than just transformations. We're a community driven by a mission to bring your dreams to life. Our installation team, part of the Babs R Us community, isn't just skilled. They're dedicated to respecting your home. Each day, they bring craftsmanship and hustle, turning your dream space, no matter the size, into reality. Together, we embrace a culture that values diversity, collaboration, and giving back. From supporting local projects to fostering a workplace where every voice is valued. Babs R Us is more than a company. It's a community of experts. We're also expanding locations to create more possibilities for homeowners across the Midwest. Wherever you are, you'll find us ready to turn your dreams into something you can see, feel, and enjoy every day. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BAB to schedule your free estimate or go to babsrus.com. Babs R Us, where dreams soak in.
One bite in, you'll be saying, that's hot as fire. Speedway's new Hot as Fire chicken sandwich turns up the temp with spicy breaded chicken on a brioche bun. Top it your way with pickles, a little hot sauce mayo combo, and more. It's a hot sandwich kind of summer. Don't just beat the heat, eat the heat. The new Hot as Fire chicken sandwich, $4.99, only at Speedway. Valid through 8/25/26. Participating stores. Exclude Speedy Cafe. Toppings and sauces sold separately. See app for full terms.
Transform your home in one weekend and save big money at Menards. Protect and enjoy your outdoor living space with Thompson's semi-transparent wood sealer. It maintains wood's natural color and provides durable, year-round protection from water and sun damage in just one coat. Save big money on Thompson's water seal products. Our knowledgeable team is ready to help bring your dreams to life 1 gallon at a time. Stop by your local Menards today.
Save big money at Menards.
Looking to launch a career in the skilled trades but don't know where to begin? Part-time service in the Ohio Army National Guard can help. You can kickstart your career by enlisting in one of our many trades-based jobs. Get paid to learn these skills and gain on-the-job training when you report to your unit 1 weekend a month or 2 weeks in the summer. To learn how the Guard can pay for your civilian trade certification, visit nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard in coordination with the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Broadcasting live from the McDaniel GM Superstore Studios, driving excellence since 1916. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. WBNS HD1 Columbus.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Guardians fans rooting for the Reds on Tuesday. Cleveland's 4 games back of Chicago in the AL Central, and the Redlegs begin a 3-game series against the White Sox tonight at 7:40. It's Pope Hat giveaway night at Wright Field. You can hear that game on the Fan following the Buckeye show. In Detroit Tuesday, Guardians battle the Tigers at 6:40. In the minors, the Columbus Clippers are scheduled to begin a 12-game homestand. They'll battle the Omaha Storm Chasers this week. First pitch for Tuesday's Diamond Dog Night is 7:05. Thunderstorms in the Midwest may alter baseball plans tonight in the majors and in the minors. In the NFL, the Bengals host the Lions Thursday in their first preseason game. The Browns are at the Bears Saturday at 1. Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders will start in that game. You can hear on the Fan. This update is sponsored by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. Together to serve you better. Scheduled today at thewaterworks.net. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Tom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
27 minutes from now, Phil Steele, the College Football Bible, the Phil Steele's College Football Preview Show will join us. Over the last 20 shows, I guess ends up being 21 because we ended up missing Oregon because of the live stuff at Ohio State on Thursday, so we ended up doing Oregon. Yesterday, we handled the 20 most interesting programs in the country as determined by us. One thing that I like to do at the culmination of that is, okay, what did we learn? What were the most interesting things? Here's an example. I maybe slept on how good Georgia was. They don't really have any holes. If Gunnar Stockton plays solid, They really are the class of the SEC. They're not getting the attention Texas is with Arch Manning and the Cam Coleman catch over the weekend and all of that stuff. They're not getting that attention as Texas. But if I were a betting man, I would put it heavily on Georgia to win the SEC. Another thing that I paid attention to in the moment but didn't think about was Oregon. I had forgotten that they're replacing both coordinators. Forgot that. Forgot that their offensive coordinators now at Kentucky, their defensive coordinators at Cal. And so they're replacing both coordinators. But if you're talking about another team, if not now, when, it certainly is them. Another operation that jumps out to you just from and we've talked about the Longhorns a lot here in the last couple of years because we've played them the last couple of years. But that's another spot where it's kind of an if not now, when situation. SMU's in a pretty good spot. The beloved Ponies with a returning quarterback and an ACC schedule that's pretty navigable. There's some opportunity there. Another example, it seems like the Penn State folks are a little bit more bullish on year one with Matt Campbell than maybe some people around the country are. And you combine that with that schedule, and all of a sudden, 10-2, and I know Bake doesn't want 10-2 Penn State in the playoff, and I don't have a problem with that. But that is an operation where it seems like maybe they could have a little bit of success. I think maybe this is it for USC to get into the playoff, that maybe they're the team in the Big Ten that can get there as well. So those are some of the things off the top of my head that jump out on 20 most interesting. When I task you guys with that, what are some things that you learned that you picked up on? Certainly there's a week when I was in Montana that I missed all of those teams that you guys are doing. Obviously went back and listened to those. But in terms of being involved in those were ones that I missed. But what are some things that jump out to you guys in terms of 20 most interesting that you learned?
Well, the Big 12 and the ACC feel sunk.
Yeah.
You know, Texas Tech had so much riding on this season from a financial standpoint, but the quarterback's the most important position in the sport. We know this. They put $6 million into one. He isn't going to snap the ball at all for them. And then it opens up the Big 12 completely. But I wonder, and, you know, talking with Miami, maybe. But Louisville, there feels like there's hope, but the kind of hope that runs out, or the hope that kind of dissolves in October. Right, it's because we're at the time of the year, and similarly Michigan State, similarly Penn State. It's like, well, things are new, things could be better, but then you start playing some actual football games, and you realize, nah, not this year. And I think the ACC and I think the Big 12 are in trouble outside of getting their conference champion in, and even it's not even guaranteed for the ACC because we've seen it.
Bo, I think the number one thing for me was Georgia.
Yeah, me too.
And it's kind of interesting that Georgia, when you look at preseason polls, they're kind of all over the place. I've seen them 4th, I've seen them 5th, I've seen them 6th, I've seen them 7th. Nobody has them inside the top 3, though. And they're returning a lot. And maybe Gunnar Stockton isn't that guy that you're like, this guy's a first-round draft pick in the NFL. But he's played a lot of college football. And he's a really good college football quarterback. It's almost like Carson Beck. Everybody kind of gave up on Carson Beck, but he actually played really good for Miami when it mattered the most last year. And Kirby Smart is one of 3 that's won one, and he's won 2 of them. So I think people are sleeping on Georgia a little bit. I didn't realize, and I'm a big fan of his, I didn't realize what a job Alex Golish did in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Like, sure, he brought the quarterback, Byron Brown, from USF with him, but he picked off guys from LSU. He picked off guys from Ole Miss. They brought a lot of high-end guys into the transfer portal, so I'm a little higher on Auburn now. And, Reese, I think Louisville is fascinating in the ACC because it seems like they have everything they need right now. The only question is Lincoln Kienholz a guy at quarterback or not? And if Lincoln Kienholz is a guy, it seems like Louisville's going to be challenging for the ACC championship this year.
So you guys did Louisville when I was out.
Correct.
That was one of the teams that you did. What was the sense you got of answering that question when you talked to the guests from Louisville? What was the sense of how is it going?
They certainly think he's the guy that can lead them into the college football playoff. I think they get a lot of. Jeff Brom's a coach that's done it before. You're David, you've taken down Goliath.
Yep.
So I think he's him being that with the confidence that exudes, because it's legitimate confidence, with the with the confidence that Lincoln Kienholz has, that we've seen, that we know. There's so much, like I said, there's so much hope. There's so much enthusiasm for that program right now, and they feel like they feel like they've done the job of putting everything together they need to make, like Baker was mentioning, a run at the ACC championship. Just wonder, you get into actual games, is it enough? Is it enough for year one? Because I don't think Lincoln's got any eligibility. I could be wrong, but
he's a redshirt junior.
So he's got a year.
He's got 2 years.
Feels like he's after this one. So it feels like
this and next.
Maybe not this year, but they bring him back. Okay, then it's ACC title or bust.
Think of the 3 teams we just talked about in the ACC at the top of it.
Yeah.
Miami, Louisville, SMU. All of those, especially if Papa John's back engaged at Louisville, which I've heard that he is. If that is the case, those 3 all have invested billionaire folks who athletics really matter to. So that's kind of what you're looking for here. Like we mentioned this a little bit in passing earlier. What's going on at Northwestern with this gift of $35 million to make sure that the football team gets towards the top. That's a massive thing. That's a 3-year commitment that Northwestern's going to get. That's going to couple with the launch of their new stadium. So that is something, for example, RJ Day will benefit from tremendously. But that's one of those things that those are game changer things. So you're looking for those things. You guys also did. We did Michigan State, right? I was out that.
Yeah, that was the Friday of that week.
The Friday when I was out.
Yep.
What did you get? What sense did you get of? Because we've talked about them a lot. The reason that I put them on there, Pat Fitz going there, but then also 3 billionaire families who, if they want to get engaged, really can. What sense did you get of Michigan State wanting to start throwing some money at football?
So they're going to throw money at it. There's just not the roster's not great, and Fitz has got his work cut out for him in year one to win everybody over because there's so much turmoil with Michigan's athletic department. Not everybody's on the same page in regards to how much they want to spend for the Spartans, and especially that football team that feels like could be a 2-3 win season. And then can Pat Fitzgerald hold on to that?
Yeah, it seemed like Pat Fitzgerald's going to have a long leash here because they've turned over so many coaches the past few years that there's just no foundation right now in East Lansing on the football program. And it also seems like there's no foundation in leadership up there. So Pat Fitzgerald needed to come in and completely change the culture of this football program and maybe hopefully help change the culture and the hierarchy above him and get some of them on board here. So it sounds like at Michigan State, they're expecting a 2 or 3 year build here.
That's a big ask. And the other thing that's interesting about the Fitzgerald hire, and I like it from their perspective, I mean, I just think he's a hell of a coach. But the thing that's going to be interesting is they made it more difficult on themselves, guys, because Pat Fitzgerald wasn't coaching a team last year. So he couldn't bring 20 guys with him. You hired John Summerall at Florida. You mentioned Alex Golish at Auburn. We talked about Bob Chesney out at UCLA. You hire one of those guys from a mid-major, the guy at Oklahoma State. You hire one of those guys, they bring 20 guys with them from North Texas to Oklahoma State. Fitz didn't bring anybody because he wasn't coaching in college last year. So there's nobody to bring with you because you're going to have the exodus when Jonathan Smith gets fired. So who are you bringing in? So those are the things. There's a lot of layers to it. I always enjoy it. There's always stuff that I pick up from it, big stuff in terms of how we shape our conversation around the sport, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. We will do an all-encompassing final categories on the 20 most interesting coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Football season is here. Make sure your internet is ready. Kinetic's 100% fiber gives you the fast, reliable connection to enjoy live football on YouTube TV and watch up to 4 live games at once with Multiview. Check real-time stats and catch more big plays without missing a snap. Take your game watching to a whole new level. Switch to Kinetic. Save up to $120 on your first year of YouTube TV. Visit GoKinetic.com for details. Subject to availability and eligibility. Terms, conditions, and restrictions apply. Cancel anytime. Kinetic. Internet better.
At CEC Turf and Tractor, family means everything. That's why we're proud to welcome Green & Sons Equipment's Mount Sterling and Marysville locations to the CEC family. We're honored to carry on the relationships Green & Sons has built in these communities for generations while expanding our ability to serve you with more parts, more inventory, and faster response times. As one of Ohio's largest Kubota dealers, CEC Turf and Tractor is growing without losing sight of what matters most. Hardworking people, trusted relationships, and hometown service. Visit CECTurfandTractor.com today for all your Kubota needs.
Recruiting is the lifeblood of any successful program. But here's the thing about a great pitch.
everybody sounds good before you commit. Hey, it's Austin Ward here. What tells you who somebody really is comes after the yes. That's what impressed me most about Awaken 180. Paige didn't need me to believe some giant promise. She wanted to understand what I needed and then let the program prove itself. Once I started, the attention didn't disappear. The coaches knew how my week went, what was coming up, when something needed adjusting, and when I simply needed somebody to say to me, "You're doing this right, keep going." I lost 50 pounds, but that's only part of why I still endorse Awaken 180. Plenty of companies are great at recruiting customers. Awaken 180 is great at developing relationships. Paige and her team stay involved because they actually care whether you succeed. That's something you can't fake for very long. They earned my trust, then they backed it up. They deserve your trust too. Check them out today at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jerry, I've made a decision.
Aaron, are you giving away free services again?
Well, yeah. How did you know?
I haven't been able to quit thinking about your AC piggy bank.
Get Eco.
ECO. We work to extend the life of their old air conditioner and then give back all the money we were paid to do it.
Up to $1,500.
When they need to buy a new system.
Jerry, I'm getting ready to do something like that again.
Get Eco.
ECO.
When we replace a water heater, I'm instructing all the Eco plumbers to give our customers up to $500 in free repairs before they leave the house.
$500 in free services that same day?
There's lots and lots and lots of things our plumbers can do for $500 or less.
And Eco is going to do these things for free when people buy a water heater?
Yeah, whatever they want for free.
That same day?
Same day.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Give it away, plumbers, genius electricians, and gonna make you cool again, HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
What defines Ohio? A place that dares to go first and never looks back. There's no slowing us down. At Jobs Ohio, our mission is clear. Strengthen job opportunities and empower Ohio's workforce. Another reason why Ohio is now ranked the #1 state for business by CNBC. This is what unstoppable feels like. We did it together, Ohio. Our time is now. See Ohio's momentum at jobsohio.com/Ohio's time.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, commercial properties. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
When you're listening to T-Bone and Tyvis, all the F words apply. Football, food, and fun, and fat, and furry. They both have beards. And they dress up like animals and hump things. T-Bone and Tyvis.
Weekday mornings at 6.
The Fan. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Throughout the rest of your Tuesday, tracking showers and storms continued later this evening. The main focus with those storms is pretty much heavy rainfall and gusty winds. Highs today right around 85 degrees, feeling warm with that humidity as well. We're keeping an eye out for the possibility of seeing more flash flooding throughout the rest of your Tuesday. I'm your 10 Weather Impact meteorologist, Lily Aldridge, 97.1 The Fan.
Miss a little, miss a lot. Catch Bishop and Friends wherever you get your podcasts. It's free.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
The Fan. If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, we hit the categories with the teams all summer long over the last 4 weeks. Time now to... So what we're going to do here is we're going to do it the best of each. Let's leave Buckeyes out of it. So no Buckeyes allowed, because I think they won a lot of these things. They're the #1 team in the country. And, of course, we're scarlet and gray colored glasses. We know that. We'll acknowledge it. So we'll leave the Buckeyes out of all of these things. And so, for example, where do we think Vince Howard would have gone? And so forth and so on. So that's how we'll attack this. You can go ahead and hit it, Bake, and we'll get into it. Oh, baby, it'll be here before we know it. All right, of the 20 teams that we talked about, best college football adaptability grade for 2026, Reese.
It's Indiana. In 2 years, they everything that they do is up there with any other team in the country. And they were running a 5-star Munch on Sales. It was between Ohio State. Ohio State was part of it, Notre Dame, and he picked Indiana. He did it live on the Pat McAfee show. He went to Indiana, a 5-star wide receiver, 6'5" wide receiver from Indianapolis, went live on ESPN and said Indiana's the school. Nobody's doing it better right now, and they're the defending national champions.
Just to be a little different here, because Indiana's probably the right answer. Ohio State would be in there as well.
Yep.
I think I'm going to, even though they haven't won the biggest prize, I think I'm going to go Oregon here. Because they do everything else you need to in college football to be successful other than just win a national championship.
Yeah. Indiana's probably the correct answer. Oregon's a great answer for this. Texas Tech, if they had Sorsby, probably would be the apex answer. SMU's would be a very strong answer. They've benefited tremendously from it. I'm going to kind of go in a different way here, though, and I'm going to say Notre Dame. I think the combination of Marcus, money, like, I don't know that Notre Dame's been healthier since the late 80s and early 90s than they are right now. They have, and it seems like from 30,000 feet, it seems like they kind of stay out of the mud a little bit. Like, they kind of identify their guys, they get them compensated, they buy what Marcus is selling, and they've kind of created their own niche that's working. So and not from a spot that you would have thought would be adaptable for 2026, but I think it's a little bit of testament to Marcus and how he has kind of maximized what that brand can be. Best, strongest uniform brand for 2026, Reese.
So we're taking Ohio State out of this.
They're out.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I think they've been able to show over the last couple of seasons that they don't need a conference because teams are still willing to schedule them. I mean, they put the USC matchup back on the schedule. They're going to take a 4 or 5 year hiatus, but that's back on. Like, as soon as they were able to, they rescheduled the Trojans. And I think the Irish with Marcus Freeman, that's as powerful as any in the country without without a conference.
Yeah.
Is incredible.
I think it's Texas. I think Texas, that brand still works, and I think that uniform is just one of the classics, the most recognizable there is.
Both of those there's a lot of great answers on all of these, and this is all just a little bit of fun. I'm going to go a heel turn here, and I'm going to go LSU. First of all, I love the uniforms, but I think the heel turn into the villains of college athletics and college sports, that's a brand I think that they can sell, and I think Kiffin will sell it. I think he will sell, we're fine being the bad guy, everybody hates us. There's a currency in that, and I think they'll sell it very, very well. Historical player addition that would change a team in college football the most this year, Reese.
I think Vince Young would make Texas the odds on. They'd get all the first place votes.
They would.
I thought Arch was Vince Young. I thought he was the second coming. Of all of mine that I participated in, my favorite is the last one we did yesterday. I think if you put Penei Sewell on Oregon, I think that's maybe the biggest difference maker out there.
I got to be careful here because I think there is a correct answer, but I'm trying to remember if when we did this team, Texas Tech was on. I just can't remember.
They were the very first team that we did, and I don't believe
right.
you were in
that's
for.
Right.
I think it was Joshua Perry.
It was, yeah.
Oh, no. Okay.
It's Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes is on Texas Tech, they can go win the national title. That's I think that might be the answer. They lost Sorsby, replaced with Mahomes, then away you go. All right, this is a big one. It's signing day at East Dillon. Although I guess he played his last year at Dillon High, didn't he? Vince Howard, the way it all shook out in the end, with that championship ring in that first practice at Dillon High. Vince Howard, Dillon High, he's sitting down with the Panthers to sign his national letter of intent. He's got the hats out. Who are the 4 hats, and where does he sign, Reese?
So he's got Texas, Texas Tech, SMU, and Ohio State as his hats.
Okay.
He picks the Red Raiders.
Okay.
Because they offer him $7 million.
I think he has Texas Tech. I think he has Texas. I believe he has Texas A&M. And he has the Buckeyes up there. And I'm with you, Reese. Cody Campbell's going to pay more than everyone else. So he's going to Texas Tech. He's heading to Lubbock.
Oh, how little. Well, Bake, you've never seen Friday Night Lights, the TV series, right?
I have not. Not yet.
Okay.
We've
So
done
you know
the book and the movie, not the TV series yet.
So the TV series, I think, is the strongest of all of them. So here's what we forget about Vince Howard. Remember, his dad was a bad operator, but they got him out of the picture. If the dad was still in the picture, he's going to Texas Tech for the most money. But Vince is going to have bigger issues on his mind. He's thinking about legacy decisions. It's not just money. I do think Texas Tech would be one of his Final Four. I think his Final Four are Texas Tech, Texas, LSU with Kiffin, and Ohio State. Vince Howard's a Buckeye, boys. I know we're not supposed to put him in there, but I'm going to cheat on that one. Kind of cheated. Vince is a Buckeye. Just like Jeremiah. Didn't take the most. Going to quarterback development school, kids. Best coach other than Ryan Day. Reese?
I'm going to go Kirby Smart. I mean, Georgia won the SEC last season. Like, they were the 3rd seed, and they, lost. Ole Miss had a really, really, really special run in the college football playoff, and I'd have been interested to see if Georgia wins that game against the Rebels, what happens, against the Miami Hurricanes. So Kirby Smart's done a hell of a job as a football coach.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
I knew that was coming.
That's the answer.
Probably. His players aren't speeding.
Yeah, those are probably the two answers that and Sig, it's tough to beat. I mean, he won a national title with the losingest program in the history of the sport, so he's probably the correct answer on this. Another one that I think when I think of guys who just seem to be doing a hell of a job in the spot they're in, he's not the right answer to this, but I do think Mike Elko's doing a hell of a job at Texas A&M and kind of finding a way to put them consistently in a spot, using their money. He wasn't as brash as Jimbo. He's not bragging about ranches. He's just kind of putting together some consistent teams that can hang a little bit. You guys have the right answers, and obviously Ryan would be up there too. But I just think they finally got the right guy there. Ultimate sliding doors moment, Reese.
Well, Baker played the soundbite. It's the Hoosiers hiring Signetti. We're going to look back on this thing in 20 years, and it's going to be the stuff of legend.
Yeah, I can't go any other direction. Maybe the only other direction would be when Phil Knight started putting tons of millions of dollars into the Oregon athletic program and the Oregon football program. But it's Curt Signetti getting hired at Indiana.
Yeah, I think that's probably one. That's when you walked in the sliding doors. One where sliding doors went the other way is probably LSU with Nick Saban and everything that happened with Bama and Saban and the Miami Dolphins job. Like, if the Miami Dolphins signed Drew Brees instead of Dante Culpepper, Bama doesn't happen. And all of a sudden now then Kalen DeBoer is looked at in a totally different way now than being compared to Saban. Out of the teams we talked of, non-Buckeyes, who is your choice to win it all?
I got Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Georgia for me, too.
Yeah. Of all the that's me, too. Of all of the teams that we talked about, who has the biggest chance to flame out, Reese?
I don't know if it's the biggest chance, but in the most spectacular fashion, it's Lane Kiffin.
That would be the most spectacular, yeah.
I'll tell you, and you guys know I don't like this guy, but I think it's Penn State. And we talk about, well, he brought all these transfers with him from Iowa State. And I know Rocco Beck had some injuries last year, but they went 5-4 and were tied for 7th in the Big 12. I get the schedule is easy in the Big 10, but the schedule is for them this year in the Big 10, but the schedule's almost always easy in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Like I said, if they go 10-2, and I think that's best case scenario for them, that doesn't get them in the playoffs.
No, it does not. I like both those answers. Another one to keep an eye on is Ole Miss. There's a lot of love and I think maybe just perfect circumstances last year. And I also think Lane doesn't get enough credit for what he is as an offensive quarterback guru, all of that. That's a big job trying to replace all that. 'Cause it's not just Lane, it's Charlie Weiss's kid too. So there's a lot to do down there. Coming up next, Phil Steele, the college football preview. We'll talk with him next in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law.
Morgan & Morgan, Ohio office located at 600 Vine Street, Cincinnati. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. Fall is around the corner, so if replacing your windows has been sitting on your to-do list, now's the time to get it done, cross it off for good. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Buy 4 windows, you get 4 free, plus 48 months of 0% interest financing, same as cash. And, of course, they back everything up with their lifetime warranty. Call now for a free home estimate, 614-502-5220, universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
At Great Lakes Hyundai, the savings are so good.
It's time for the summer sunset sale at Great Lakes Hyundai. Right now, lease a new 26 Tucson SE for $149 per month for 36 months. $149 a month. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With approved credit, $49.95 down plus tax title first month payment. 7,500 miles per year ends 8/31.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Weston Air Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Bo could quit today and become the school drop-off line coordinator. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time down on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline, college football preview with the godfather of the college football preview. He's the great Phil Steele. Phil Steele's college football preview is out. It is available. Phil, thank you so much for taking the time. Before we get into your all of your thoughts on the Buckeyes and all of that, in terms of the way that you do this, you build this year in, year out. Is there a team with, when you factored in portal and all of the free transfer and everything that came with it, that by the time you got to your rankings ended up better than maybe you thought they were going to be in the initial analysis? And conversely, is there a team that maybe you thought was going to be better than by the time you get to the end of it ended up being worse?
Yeah, I think one of the teams that was better was Utah, and I thought with losing Whittingham and having having a new head coach this year, losing some players and losing a bunch off the offense and defensive lines, I thought Utah was probably, when I started the process, it's a 7-month process doing a magazine. I had Utah probably 5th, 6th in the Big 12, but the more I looked at them, and after talking to Coach Staley and going over the team with them, I've got them right up there at 3rd in the Big 12, so they made a big jump. And then probably on the negative side, I would say maybe LSU. I know they hit the portal extremely hard, but last year Texas Tech hit the portal hard and did extremely well. They dominated the Big 12, but they had my number 5 most experienced class last year. LSU's has my number 93 most experienced class. A lot of transfers coming in. They're at quarterback. The transfer from Arizona State, Sam Leavitt, did not even participate in the spring. We'll see if he's 100% in the fall. So I think LSU, with the schedule factored in, dropped a little bit in my ratings.
Phil, what do you make of this version of Ohio State in the coaches poll? They start the year number 1 preseason, lost 4 guys in the top 12 of the NFL draft, but that's kind of the standard around here. What do you like about this Buckeye team for 2026? If there are holes that you see, what are those?
Yeah, a lot to like as far, especially on the offense. I rate him the number one offense in the country this year. Julian Sayen's back. They've got Bo Jackson, a 1,000-yard rusher at running back. As always, the number one receiving core in the country, led by Jeremiah Smith. And the offensive line last year, Bo, I thought was above average. This year, I rated the number 2 offensive line in the country. I'm, of course, on the Joe Moore Award Committee, one of the 21 award committees I'm on, so I value offensive line play. You know, you look at all the losses on defense. I look at the defensive line and say that last year they lost a pair of number 1 draft picks, a number 2 and a number 5. This year they only, I'm using air quotes there, lose a number 2 and a number 6 draft pick. So I think the defensive line's solid. Biggest question mark I have on the team is the linebacking core. Losing the guys they did in Styles and Avril Reese, both a couple of top 11 picks, and then their nickelback as well going out the door to New Orleans. That's my biggest question mark on the team, as well as the schedule. Last year's schedule was, well, it was pretty easy. And this year's schedule, playing Texas, Iowa, Indiana, USC, and Nebraska as the 5 road games. I don't know if anybody in the country plays as tough of 5 road games as Ohio State plays this year.
No, I think you're probably right. And yet, I think we probably all envision them getting to the college football playoff and being in the mix. You mentioned that schedule, and some of it's kind of a no-brainer. In Austin's obviously very, very difficult, the game in Bloomington. You mentioned Iowa, though, too. When you think of possible trip-ups, where are they for this Buckeye team? And then what is the minimum requirement in your mind from them from a record-wise that would still have them safely in the playoff?
Yeah, when you look at Iowa, they lost a lot. And they give an example, their special teams. They lose their special teams coordinator, their kicker, their punter, their kick returner, and their punt returner. So you would think I'd have their special teams ranked like middle of the road to the bottom half of the rankings. But Kirk Ferentz is still the head coach there, and they always produce a top-notch special team. So I rate them number 6. They lose a lot off defense, but Phil Parker's still the defensive coordinator. And remember, Iowa last year was actually a team that was 4 plays away from being unbeaten. All 4 losses were by 5 points or less, including that game against Indiana at home, which you only lost by 5, and that was an Indiana team that blew out most of their opponents last year. So that's a dangerous spot for Ohio State. If Ohio State was to lose 2 games against this schedule, they'd still get in the playoffs for sure. Is the committee ready to put a 3-loss team in there? We'll see. But I think Ohio State could easily lose 2 games against this schedule and still get into the playoff.
Phil, as we expand the conversation to the Big Ten at large, how many Big Ten teams do you think will get in, and who are those teams? Do you have a sleeper, perhaps?
Yeah, I'm going to go with 4 teams to make the playoff this year. I know last year was 5 for the SEC and 3 for the Big Ten. I'm going to go 4 and 4 this year. Naturally, I'm going with Indiana, Bo. And, when you look at the Hoosiers, I'll take you back to my first conversation with Coach Signetti, which was when he was James Madison, making the move up from FCS to FBS. They had lost their second-team All-American quarterback, and they had no experience returning at the quarterback position. And I said, Coach, you're making a move up from the FCS to the FBS. You lose your big quarterback here and take a step back here, right? And he's like, Phil, I've had an all-conference quarterback every year I've been a head coach. I'll have one this year, and guess what they did? So, now that they have Josh Hoover taken over, this guy's got 10,000 yards passing. It's a great piece to work with. I'm confident he'll be one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Outstanding offensive line. And then how about getting those 2 defensive line additions and Stephen Daly and Kellen Wyatt coming back to the team with the ruling? I've got Indiana favored in 11 of their 12 games this year, Bo. The only one I don't is a home game against Ohio State, and I've got that one pick 'em. I think the Hoosiers are a legitimate title contender. And then with Oregon, I'm pretty surprised that Dante Moore returned. He could have been the second pick in the overall in the NFL draft, but he's back. His receiving core was banged up last year with Evan Stewart missing most of the year, DeCorian Moore missing half the year. Those guys are back. The offensive line's solid. Defensive line's got all 4 starters back. Very talented team. Now, they do have to play Ohio State on the road. They also play USC on the road, and I'll talk about them in a second. But naturally, once again, if you lose 2 games in the Big Ten, odds are you're going to make the playoff. And I think they have a shot at being that 4th different Big Ten team to win a national title in 4 years. And then I really like USC this year. I think they make the playoff. When I went over the squad with Coach Riley, he said this is the best defense he's had in his 5 years there. They bring in Gary Patterson as the defensive coordinator. They bring in some transfers. They had plenty of talent returning. Really like the defense. And, of course, Lincoln Riley's going to have a good offense. Jade Mayev is back at QB, where he feels he'll be a Lincoln Riley feels he'll be a first-round pick at the end of the year. Wayman Jordan got injured last year, so a walk-on King Miller filled in. Those two are both back, plus they had in a couple of VHT, True Frosch. And I rate their offensive line number 5 in the country this year. So USC gets Oregon at home, and they get Ohio State at home. They do play Penn State in a whiteout, but I think if they pull an upset at either against Oregon or Ohio State at home, you'll see USC in the playoff this year.
So, Phil, USC, Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana out of the Big Ten, 2 teams that you mentioned there from a schedule standpoint. What do you make of Kyle Whittingham's year 1 at Michigan and then Matt Campbell's year 1 at Penn State?
Well, what a similar scenario for both those coaches. When you're watching the coaching search last year, you're like, oh, my goodness, nobody wants to coach Michigan. Who are they going to get? Oh, this is horrible. Same thing with Penn State. That thing went on for 40-plus days. Yeah. And then when it's announced Kyle Whittingham's taken over, you're like, boom, home run. And then Matt Campbell's taken over, boom, home run. I think both step into really good situations, and both are playoff contenders. Penn State probably gets the benefit of the best schedule of the bunch. They don't play Indiana, Ohio State, or Oregon. That's a great little gift for Matt Campbell. He brings over 24 players with him from Iowa State, including Rocco Becht, one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the country, his entire receiving core, his top running back, and they had some talent returning. You know, Penn State definitely was a talented team last year, probably better than their 7-6 record. So with that schedule, I can see this team getting to double-digit wins potentially. And with Michigan, you know, Whittingham didn't bring a ton of players over with him, but he brought the right ones, like a John Henry Daly at defensive end, Smith Snowden at cornerback. He inherits Bryce Underwood. You know they're going to have a good offensive line in Michigan, and Whittingham always developed an outstanding offensive line at Utah, outstanding defensive line, and outstanding special teams. He's got all that here. What I don't like about Michigan is their schedule. They host Indiana, which is going to be a game, probably be an underdog. And then how about those 2 of the last 3 games of the season? They have to play at Oregon and at Ohio State. So I've got them a dog in all 3 of those. And I think if they lose all 3, they come up just short of the playoff. But much like USC, if they pull an upset in there, they're a playoff contender. So I really think the Big Ten is loaded this year at the top.
It really is, Phil. Do you have them favored in that Oklahoma game early?
I got that game pick 'em at the start of the year. They are at home. Oklahoma's got Mateer back. Mateer had the hand injury last year. They do have my number 3 rated defense in the country. Oklahoma does. That's going to be a hell of a game right at the start.
Yeah, it really is. I'll get you out of here on this one. Who do you like to inevitably win the whole thing? And obviously acknowledging that when you get to a playoff, it's kind of a crapshoot now. It's not like the old days where you play one game and you win it.
Yeah, you hit it on the head there, Bo. It's once you qualify. Look at Miami; they were the last team in last year, and it became one play of winning it all. You know, I went with Notre Dame this year, and here's why I like the Irish. Last year they held opponents to 95 yards per game, below their average on defense, and they got 9 starters back defensively. I rate them the number 5 defensive line in the country, number 1 set of linebackers, number 1 DBs. Generally, I'm a defensive guy, so if you got the number 1 defense in the country, that might be enough for me to pick you number 1. But I'm also on the Joe Moore Award Committee, as I said, and I rate their offensive line number 1 in the country, right ahead of Ohio State. They've got 4 NFL-caliber offensive linemen, all back from last year. They've got a quarterback in C.J. Carr, who is the Heisman frontrunner right now. They improved the receiving core. Greathouse missed the year. They had a couple of Ohio State transfers. And, they do lose their 2 running backs, but I think against their schedule, which I rate number 66 in the country, the 2 games I don't have them a 14-point favorite or more are at BYU and home against Miami of Florida. And I've got them favored in all 12 games. Now, here's the big thing, and the one thing I want to point out, teams that are off a bye are 1-7. I mean, when you sit out 3-4 weeks and you're playing an opponent that played last week, it's actually a negative. Ask Kirby Smart of Georgia, who's 0-2. Only Cignetti's been able to overcome it. So can Notre Dame overcome that bye in the first round of the playoffs? If they do, I think they have the talent to win it all. But as you mentioned, Bo, any of those teams that I just mentioned that have a great shot making the playoff all have a shot of winning it all.
Phil, I'll give you where can folks get it? Obviously, I've had it for a while now, but guys, it's the godfather of information in college football. You want to know what's going on in the sport, this is the guy. Where can folks get the preview mag?
I appreciate that, Bo. Only 2 brick-and-mortar stores have it, Barnes & Noble and Books A Million. So if you're out and about looking for it, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, 3 76 pages, 2 full pages on all 138 teams. You can also go to philsteele.com, and when you go there to get the magazine, we're going to charge you a shipping charge, but we do give you the digital magazine absolutely free. And Bo, you know, I have a surprising fact. Ryan, your producer, said this is the first time we talked. I can't believe that.
I know it. It's sad, man. Let's not wait. Let's do it again soon, man. Really enjoyed it. Have respected and admired your work for years. So thank you so much for the time today.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Bo. It was great talking to you for the first time.
Absolutely. The great Phil Steele, the College Football Bible, Phil Steele's College Football Preview. Join on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. We do 3 things on a Tuesday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination, Ohio State football. Training camp report.
This report is brought to you statewide by Safelite Auto Glass and Bob's Discount Furniture. This season, Ohio State brings back 4 starters on the offensive line, returning center Carson Hinsman, guard Luke Montgomery, and tackles Philip Daniels and Austin Saraveld, who Ryan Day and his staff will be working between tackle and guard in camp.
Yeah, we're going to try a couple different combinations. You know, we are going to look at him playing tackle, as you saw last year, also look at him playing guard. And I think, you know, when you look at Josh Padilla, when you look at Ian Moore, when you look at Phil Daniels, finding the best 5 is what we're going to do. But part of that 5 is knowing that Austin can play both guard and tackle. So he spent a lot of time at tackle here most recently. So we thought we wanted to get him some guard reps, see how he felt in there, see how he looked. It's been a little while, but we'll see how it goes. And it's going to be really good competition. Good news is we have some different options, but we've got to find the best 5.
We'll have more after this.
Bob's Discount Furniture has the furniture you've waited 250 years for. We've got power reclining sofas as low as $7.99, 5-piece dining sets as low as $3.99, Bob-O-Pedic mattresses for as low as $2.99, and of course feature-packed bestsellers like my Playday sectional with pop-up sleeper sofa. So stop in or shop mybobs.com to see where America shops for furniture. Oh, my Bob! Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
The versatile Austin Saraveld started every game at left tackle last year and started at right guard during the Buckeyes' national title run 2 years back. If he played right guard this season, the interior would combine for 72 starts. Left guard Luke Montgomery on if Saraveld moved inside.
Austin's one of those guys that is very versatile. He can play a couple of different positions, which is only going to help us out. And if he goes inside or if he goes out to tackle or wherever he's going, I think he's only going to help us wherever he's at.
Ian Moore has been another player who has seen time at left tackle in camp, and his sub-1 Montgomery has a lot of confidence in.
We got a lot of confidence in him. He's got a lot of confidence in us. He's got all the intangibles to be the best as he wants to be. He's super exciting to watch. He's definitely one of the most athletic guys we have in the O-line. And you know what I like about Ian, too, is he brings a lot of energy and stuff like that. He's been doing a tremendous job, and, just got to continue to go in fall camp.
The season opener for the Buckeyes is September 5th versus Ball State. We'll have another report tomorrow. This is Tyler Danberg on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
Are you ready to sail, Buckeye Nation? Join us February 19th to February 26, 2027, as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer out of Barbados on the Silver Sea, Silver Ray. Meet more than 35 Buckeye greats plus some of your favorite current Buckeyes, all while making memories and helping beat cancer. You don't want to miss this ultimate Buckeye fan experience. We can't wait to see you on board. Let's celebrate 20 years of making a difference. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com for more information.
Paul Keels here, voice of the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeye sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeye MVP membership upgrade for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
Whether it's water heater trouble, clogged or leaky pipes, or sub pump worries, Logan Services has you covered with service calls for just $79. We're fast, friendly, and here to help you with your plumbing projects. Logan Services.
McDonald's is putting value back on the menu. Whether you're craving a Big Mac, McNuggets, or sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, make it a meal and save. Your favorite is now your wallet's favorite too. Extra value meals are back.
Enjoy a $5 sausage McMuffin with egg extra value meal, complete with hash browns and a small coffee. Most stores open 5 a.m. or earlier. Price and participation may vary. Promotion pricing may be lower than meal pricing.
They say 40 is the new 20, and that's because guys in their 40s, 50s, and 60s are walking around with the testosterone levels of their 20s. Visit Low T Center, like thousands of other men in Central Ohio already have. Go to fixmylowt.com and book your free T test today.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for almost 80 years. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Homes in Columbus know that August brings those aggressive yellow jackets and wasps. Don't wait for an invasion. Protect your property and family with Rose Pest Solutions Home Service Program. It's so easy, so convenient. The Rose Home Service Program provides year-round protection, one flat annual fee, regularly scheduled visits to solve all your problems. Rose is local, family-owned, trusted by your neighbors in Ohio for over 165 years. Get peace of mind today. Call 800-966-ROSE or visit rosepestsolutions.com. Reese, what do we have on the poll today, my friend?
Daily Fan Pool sponsored by JT's Pizza and Pub. It asks, who's the most hated team in college football? Your options: Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas Tech, someone else. 40% say Ohio State's the most hated team in CFB. 31% say Notre Dame. 25% say someone else. And then 2% say Texas Tech.
Like, first of all, I think it would be LSU. Right? Aren't they the villains this year?
Well, I want to say this poll was asked in terms of who do you think of college football.
But Michigan wasn't on it?
No. They might have taken the someone else votes from people thinking, well, I hate Michigan the most. But in terms of who's the most hated by general college football, like you polled 10 college football fans of 10 different fan bases.
Yeah.
I could see Ohio State and Notre Dame getting 7 or 8 of those.
Yeah, I suppose. Jealousy.
So I'm guessing, like, if you did this poll somewhere else in the country, right, Ohio State would be very, very high on that list.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is probably, I don't think Texas Tech has the longevity. People may not they may not hate them now, and I don't think even LSU, like, I would think Bama would be higher on that list than LSU. And
if Sorsby was at Texas Tech, if they would have played him, then they'd be number one.
Maybe for this season.
For this season. Yeah. Like if they would have played him, then I think perhaps.
I'm not sure this is a this season poll. It may be just all time. So.
All right, time for 3 things on a Tuesday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Number 1 for me, if you are a 14-year-old son of mine and you text me from your buddy's house at a sleepover at 2:37 in the morning asking for more time on TikTok, you understand that you are choosing violence. NBC chose violence. And so there will be no phone for a while for the kid. What are we doing, bud? What the hell are we doing?
So first thing for me, he asks for more time. Is there a time cap on the app?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to cap these kids, Reese. Otherwise, they would just chase it. Yeah. So
and
there's
it provides
I put
that.
it on there. I provide the time cap. So he gets however much time on the various apps and on his phone, and then he has to ask me for more. 2:37 in the morning, ballsy.
Well, you live and you learn, right?
Yeah.
You'll hopefully learn to not make that sort of a mistake again. There are a lot of you out in our listening area without power right now. There are a lot of trees down, especially in the northwest part of town. And there could be some more storms coming later today. Certainly, there's more inclement weather in the forecast this week. When you're out, just remember to be careful, be patient, so we can all be safe. Look out for each other out there, especially when you're driving, like safe stopping distance, and just be more aware than normal. because we're all in this together. Like, everybody's dealing with the same sort of things today. Look out for some of your older neighbors, especially those in areas that you know there's a lot of outages.
If you're just tuning into the program and missed Phil Steele, make sure you go check that out wherever you get your podcasts. I guarantee you, as someone who has just got his magazine for the past 3 seasons, if you are a college football fan, you are going to love it. You're going to have to take some time getting used to some of the abbreviations for things and whatnot. But you are going to love that magazine. It will be well worth your $30 or whatever it is. It is invaluable for what we do here, especially with 20 Most Interesting Programs. And Phil Steele, I mean, he was just doing that all off the rip. He wasn't looking at anything. He knows all of that stuff. He's put in the time, so definitely go get his magazine.
So I don't ever prep any of the people we have on the show with what we're going to talk about, and I'm confident that almost all of them handle it just fine, and he is an ace at that. Real quickly, probably no time for 3, so we'll just get to 2 today. Yes, I saw it. No, I don't understand how Chris Berman's pants are standing up. I don't understand it. I don't understand how they're staying up. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
We'll have that at 971 BFS sometime this afternoon. Just real quick out there from Phil Steele himself. There is a fake or several fake accounts on Amazon purporting to sell Phil Steele's magazine. PhilSteele.com is the place you want to go for the physical magazine, or Barnes & Noble's if you want to actually go in. Barnes & Noble. I gave it the Kroger's treatment there. If you want to pick up the physical one, Barnes & Noble in the Columbus area. Only 2 reputable places.
Final thing for me, don't go anywhere. Rothman and Ice have you covered on your Tuesday afternoon. Tyvis Powell's going to join them at 1:30. And I guess Joel Klatt's preseason rankings for college football got some people in an uproar, so they're going to get into that a little bit as well.
You have that to look forward to, which is nice. We're back tomorrow, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Where can you listen to the #1 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes on Columbus's #1 station? Your home of the Buckeyes.